Check one, check two. Let me know we got it. Let me know we got volume, Goonies. Let's go. Yes, sir. Hit that like. Hit that subscribe. We good on volume? Yeah, okay. Sound is good. Thank you, Frankie. King Frankie 47. Appreciate you, my dog. Yes, sir. You smoke? Rest in peace. Rest in peace, Mike Flores, man. Yes, sir. Everybody hit that like. If you ain't subscribed, hit that subscribe. Thank you, Loca, for the $1.99. So he's donating.
I got you.
And then I donate that back to her. Yeah. Yes, sir. Let's go, Casey. Welcome to Hood Stocks, everybody. Appreciate you tapping in on a Sunday early evening. LA's #1 underground podcast. Best believe it, #1 in the underground.
Whoop.
Yes, we wouldn't have it
Let's go.
we wouldn't have it no other way, man. Underground for life. Who knows, one day we might go mainstream, man, and we might have to act right. But until then, you know what I mean, we're gonna just keep on doing us, right?
He said, until then, here we are.
Maybe one day we might go mainstream and have to be politically correct. I mean, I think even in the underground these days, I've kind of like, shaped up a little bit, you know? I kind of want to be a little bit, not fall off too much off the deep end, right? You got to be somewhat politically correct, people.
Always.
People get offended, man.
Yeah, too quick.
People are very, very emotional these days. Touchy subjects. Today, guys, we got a great podcast for you, man. Appreciate you tapping in. I see a lot of the Goonies are already locked in right here. Once again, hit that like, hit that subscribe if you haven't subscribed yet. Today, we got our first USC student, man. And this man goes by the name of Ivan Gallegos. And he is, yes, like I said, he's a USC student, and he's got an incredible story for us. So let's everybody give it up for Ivan.
Appreciate the love.
Absolutely, man. How you doing?
I'm good. It's a good Sunday. How about you?
Good. How's that USC like, man?
Amazing. I'm about to graduate, so I'm just happy about that. But, it's been a wild ride, 4 years, yeah.
Okay, 4 years. Okay, yeah. So 4 years accomplishes what?
I'm going to get my bachelor's in business administration. So I graduate May 15th, yeah.
Wow, congratulations, man. First, we'll have to have you come back after you graduate.
Okay,
we'll have to have like a graduation party or something. I don't know, bro. You know what I mean? You bring some of them sorority girls over here and shit. You know what I mean?
I got you.
Casey will pull up in his little fucking cheetah. You know what I mean? A Speedo.
Yeah. I got you.
Yeah, that little man is a pervert right there. You see that little man over there? Watch out with him, bro. You know what I mean? He is the nastiest one in here, dog. It's a sick little man. You have actually an incredible story, man. And when Loca brought it to the table, man, I said, yes, we 100% got to do this. But first off, and once again, congratulations on you accomplishing what you've accomplished. 4 years, you're going to get your bachelor's degrees, business. I mean, what exactly do you have planned? What is the plan?
Yeah, so I mean, when I was applying for school, my whole business was, I mean, I got into music when I was like 9, and I knew I really wanted to do music.
Yeah.
But I think the big problem right now in the music industry is a bunch of artists and producers kind of go into the game without knowing the business. And so they get screwed off of contracts, and they don't know how to negotiate themselves, like stuff like that. So when I was applying, I was like, I want to go to a school that could teach me the business side and the music side. USC is a top business program and top music and business program for Thornton and Marshall. And so I was like, it just makes perfect sense for me also being from the area. And, I got in and I just talked about, like, I want to be a creator on the artist side, the production, songwriter side, but I also want to be someone who can manage. And one day I want to own my own record label.
Let's go, man. Let's go. I like it, man. Shit. One day I'm gonna be like, man, I'm glad is this your first interview?
Yeah. I've done a few, but I think
few.
it's probably like the biggest one. And then from this side, I've done like a few from like USC, like the Annenberg is like the school of journalism over there.
Okay.
Where a few of them have heard my story, they kind of wanted to hear what's up with it, but I didn't give them full details on stuff, and it's just different environment. So it's like.
You had to tread easy.
Yeah, exactly.
100%. Yeah. You know, right here, you ain't got to tread easy, right?
Yeah.
And the case is closed, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. But you always want to be careful as well.
Right.
You know, wow, bro, that's name brand school USC, man. Yeah. That's the best of the best, right?
Yeah.
That's the best of the best, bro. Like you got Nikes on your feet. You know what I mean? You play with it.
Yeah.
Right. Wow. What a great accomplishment. And you from the hood.
Yeah.
You were raised in the hood. Like I know your mama right here. You know what I mean? She from the hood.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
Shout out to the homegirl.
Shout out to Vicious. Hey, I know Vicious, man. She's good people. Your mom's good people, bro. I don't know your pops, so you know what I mean, but your pops from the hood too.
Yeah, he's from HP Locals.
Oh, he's from HP Locals.
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
okay. Is that Huntington Park?
Yeah, Huntington Park.
Okay,
yeah.
okay. That's what's up. And so, well, real quick question. USC, man, damn, you're gonna be owing a lot of money, or will you not be owing a lot of money?
I mean, that's the goal, right? I mean,
well, USC, bro. Are you in debt?
high
that's what you
tuition.
meant. I thought you meant for after. Nah, I got on a full ride.
Whoa.
Okay.
Yeah, so when I was applying, I mean, there's like merit, which is basically like they look at your grades, they look at like what you could accomplish at USC, and they kind of determine like if you're a good enough student, they'll cover it. But then there's also like your other scholarships. So going into it, I applied to like, I'm not even exaggerating, maybe like 200, and I was like, as long as I get like 2 or 3, I'll be set. And like I got a scholarship with the LA Rams. At the time I was working at Chick-fil-A, so I got a Chick-fil-A scholarship. I had like Norman Topping, Town and Gown scholarship, High Shirt scholarship, and then the Merit Presidential USC full ride scholarship. Yeah.
That's right.
You're speaking Casey's language right now. Like, I don't know what the fuck. You just said Chick-fil-A, and I was like, yeah, they got good chicken sandwiches there. Everything else I just kind of blanked out on, bro. My bad on that, dog. But scholarship and free 99 is my favorite number. So exactly. I understand that language right there, dog. Yeah, man. So, like, what put you in a position to get a free ride? I mean, like, is it just, like, how were you recognized? I mean, were your grades superb in high school or something? Or, like, how do you able to cross that bridge like that?
Yeah, I mean, I think during in high school, I've always liked learning. Like always, since I was a kid, I've always loved math and just like different stuff. When I got into music at 9, it was just like learning on YouTube. I've always been someone who learned. So I think school came out easy for me. The only hard part was like obviously at home stuff. Yeah. You're dealing with a bunch of stuff at home, and coming to school, it's like you don't want to focus. You're not in the right mindset. I remember senior year, I was working hella, and like I missed a lot of school. But the thing is, I would show up for exam days and like really pass the exams. So
how you do that? You just naturally gifted?
No, just like studying overnight.
Overnight.
Busting all-nighters and be like, yeah, I wasn't here for a week, or I was just late to class. I don't know, or I couldn't focus. You go into class, you sit there, and then you get out, and then you're like, damn, I didn't learn nothing. Yeah. So you got to go back home and like learn. And then from that, I had good grades coming out of high school. I graduated with like a 4.2, 4.3 around there.
Damn, let's go, baby.
Yeah.
I know that's a good GPA average. Right? That's like an A+ or something?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Damn, bro.
And so, I finished with that. And then I was involved with a lot of stuff at the time. I was working at Chick-fil-A and some other office jobs. And then, played football, basketball. And then during like the whole application stuff, they ask you a bunch of questions like outside of school, like what you do. And I just wrote about like my upbringing. And I remember like specifically talking about like, even though 4.2 is good, there's a bunch of people from all over the nation that have 4.8s, 4.9s, all this stuff. And I said like, I might not have the resources that they had, but I mean, I won't let them outwork me, because I mean, they started up here, I started down here.
Come on, man.
Yeah.
Never let them outwork you, baby.
Yeah. So that was my application answers, and then I got into USC.
Damn, well deserved, man. Your work ethic is next level, and with all the distractions. I mean, were you living with your mom the whole time?
No, I was living with my mom until I was always on and off with my mom and my grandma.
Got you.
My grandma was living like in Maywood.
Okay.
So I grew up around like all the Maywood homies over there, and then my mom was living in HP, so over there like Florence side. So we just back and forth. My mom, got locked up and went away maybe like when I was like 9 or 10.
Wow.
Me and my grandma, we moved to East LA, Boyle Heights, the Estrada courts, and that's kind of where I stood for the rest of my life until USC, and then I moved out to campus.
Wow, bro. And so your grandmother was a very good, just a good example. I mean, was she a good push in the direction that you ended up going? I mean, did she teach you work ethic? I mean, where do you get this from? Is it in the DNA? Talk to me, dog.
Yeah, I feel like my grandma worked like 2-3 jobs just to take care of me and my sister, and it was like at a time where, I mean, she's already took care of my mom and, you know, my mom's siblings and stuff like that. She gets older, she wants to rest, and then now she has to take care of like me and my sister and other siblings, and it's just kind of like, you know, tough that seeing her work so hard. It was just kind of like I have to, like I it was like a burden. Like I can't. I'm already 14. At 14, I started working full time. At like 14, I was like, I can't let her work no more, and so I was like freshman in high school.
What's full time though? How do you work full time at 14? What's considered full time?
Like cleaning offices.
But is that
like
is full time like 40 hours a week?
I was working at that time 30, and then senior year of high school, and then senior year of high school, I went up to 48.
Wow, bro. 48 hours a week.
48 hours. I would get off, I would have school, practice, go to Chick-fil-A, get off at Chick-fil-A, go clean the offices, get home maybe like at like 2 a.m., and then go to sleep and wake up 7 a.m. back to school.
So no
Every
sleep.
day for like 2 years, yeah.
Damn, bro.
Every day for 2 years. So then I was always late because I would go park at school and then go to sleep in my car for period, like my first and second period. I like clock in, yeah, I'm here, and then go to sleep.
Damn, bro.
Yeah.
You probably the hardest worker that we've ever had on this platform, bro. In the 7 years, man. Just that's crazy, brother. And for you obviously you had to mature real quick, huh?
Yeah.
You matured early, man. You know, shout out to you, man. Shout out to you,
Yeah,
bro, for
appreciate
having such an amazing head on your shoulders. And wow, you're gonna go to amazing places. This is just the very beginning, and I'm glad that you are here today to share the beginning of your stages in life of, you know, your great success that you're gonna have throughout the rest of your life. There's a lot of kids that go to school, man, and they get themselves in debt.
Yeah.
You know, and sometimes there's people, I mean, I always listen to people like on YouTube that are, you know, smarter than me, you know. And a lot of them kind of like talk down on certain education, you know, in regards to getting yourself debt. And then there's kids that go to school for like, say, 4 years. They're in debt. They go to school for how many ever years, you know what I mean, it takes. Yeah. And then they're still jobless, you know. Yeah. Do you hear stuff like that? Yeah.
I mean, all the time. I even have like some people that I know that, you know, didn't finish USC. They dropped out and they're doing really good. And they have the mentality of like, oh, you don't need school. Like, look at me. I dropped out and I'm doing good. And I always tell them like, every situation is different, and even though it worked out for you, it might not work out for everybody. Exactly. You know. And I always tell them like, you at least had 2 years in USC where you actually gained knowledge. You dropped out, you didn't graduate, but that knowledge that you gained from that, useful. There's other people that I said like, yeah, there's people that don't finish high school and end up doing good, but they put in double the work than someone who would have gone to college. And for those who, you know, go to college and come out and they don't have a job, to them, I just tell them, like, I think sometimes people focus too much on, like, getting good grades in the classes and stuff like that, where they kind of lose focus on, like, the most important part of school, in my opinion, which is just, like, networking. Like, going to these networking events, internships, whenever they have panels of, like, if someone wants to go into, like, the music industry, and then they have, like, people from Universal coming into USC. I know, like, for me, sometimes I would miss class to go to those things and meet those people. Some people are like, nah, I got to go to class. Which is like, yeah, like I get it. You got scheduled time and stuff like that, but you also got to realize that after school, you got to look for a job. And in the music industry, for example, and I think most industries, you know, people are kind of hiring over people they know. Yeah. Compared to, you know, people they don't know. So it's just situational, you know. And I always tell people like, the whole debt thing, you just got to play your cards right. You got to understand scholarships. You got to understand tuition and rates. You know, a lot of people they're like, yeah, I could pay this off, and they sign to a loan and they don't realize the interest rate, and they realize, oh, I'm paying way too much for this, and it's just like
they're just happy they got accepted.
Exactly.
Right?
You got to evaluate all that stuff before. You know, and there's a lot of people that go in blindly, or they say like, all right, I'm gonna accept and then worry about it later. Yeah. Well, you got to worry about that from the beginning. So that's why I was so inclined with like, I got to do all these scholarships because I'm trying to get free ride. I'm trying to leave, be there, and not even have to worry about money. And then a lot of people don't know this. Like, they pay you to go to school. A lot of people don't know that. When I was doing my research and applying, and I was like, wait, I can get paid to do this?
Grants, right?
Grants and stuff like that. So it kind of gets included with the full ride, where I got so much scholarship and full ride money and support that they paid for my apartment. So these past 4 years, I've never paid a single dollar for rent, gas bills, nothing. So I live rent free. They pay for my food. They pay for all that. But in return, I got to keep my grades up. I got to stay in school. If I drop out, then I have to repay it. So I got to stay. I got to do good, and
you got to follow in with. You got to cover your end of the bargain.
Exactly.
Yeah, and it seems like I think school is really huge. And like you said, well, there's people that are dropped out, bro, but they did get that 1 year of USC, and so they did gain knowledge. They understand the structure, right? They learned the structure. Like, so I'm saying all that to say this, bro. So I went to school for 5 years to become a union electrician, a journeyman electrician, certified for the state of California, right? And it was all heavy math for 5 years, bro. Like before that, I was counting on my fingers. I got a GED at 36 years old in prison. You feel me? Yeah. You know, and so it was. I had to learn trigonometry. I had to learn all this shit, bro. That I never thought that I'd be able to learn. You know what I mean? Because I never learned how to learn. You know, but I learned how to learn through a lot of pressure of having to pass these national tests. They call them national tests. If I don't pass the national test, then I don't pass the week, bro. And then it costs me money. And then it's just like it's a lot of fucked up shit. And it was the most pressure that I've ever felt in my entire life. And this is me as a grown man, like, you know, late 30s, you know what I mean? Early 40s. I'm going through this schooling. And I think it was the best thing that I've ever done for myself is putting myself under that pressure to pass tests and having to fucking learn, bro. In crunch time, real time, overnight type of shit, you know? And so I go into that shit like I go into on some street shit, bro, like on a fight, you know what I mean? It's gonna be do or die. I gotta get this done. And it helped me. It helped me be a little more calculated throughout my life, like now, you know what I mean? I'm 49 now, but it's really, really helped me. School has helped me. Yeah. And so I say that anybody should put themselves, if they haven't, they should put themselves under that pressure of, you know, having to pass tests, having to learn to study, you know what I mean? And pass a course of something, anything.
Yeah.
You know?
No, for sure, I agree. I always tell people, like, even when, you know, it's people that come out of high school and they don't want to go to a traditional 4-year. I'm like, there's still 2-year options, there's still trade options, there's still like so much things, but I think you start limiting yourself once you stop learning out of high school. And that's what a lot of people do. They get out of high school and they're like, that's it, no more learning, no more nothing. And it's like, that's not what life's supposed to be about. You're supposed to keep on wanting to progress. You're supposed to keep on wanting to go into a higher level. People get just comfortable. They think, all right, I'm cool, I'm gonna get a 9 to 5, which is cool, you know, whatever, no shade to that, but it's like, are you progressing while you're working the 9 to 5? Are you trying to get to a higher level? And a lot of people just get comfortable because they get a check and they're like, all right, I'm cool. Yeah,
and then they stay stagnant. You know
exactly.
And then next thing you know, they're a little bit dead in the water, bro, and everybody else done passed them up. They kept on trying to educate, kept on learning. Like, to this day, like, and we have something that's called YouTube, man. Bro, type in anything. You know what I mean? Spend a couple hours.
Too, even AI.
You know what I mean? You know, like, bro, to this day, like, I'm so curious about everything. I'm forever trying to learn. I'm trying to gain knowledge. I'm trying to, you know, wisdom, all that stuff. And so if it's something biblical or if it's historical, like, I'm on it, bro. I'm a fucking big nerd, dog, these days, man. I love all that stuff because I want to be able to maybe bring something to a conversation. You know what I mean? You know, be able to add to a conversation. Doing this podcast thing right here, shit, you got to know some shit. You got to be in tune to what's going on, man. Yeah. You know, so, you know, I think anybody out there, man, don't ever just fucking get comfortable like you said. Yeah. You know, just continue being hungry. I don't care if you're 50 years old, if you're 60 years old, you know what I mean? Like, it's never too late, man. And it's always cool when you can bring something to the conversation, even if it's at a barbecue. You know what I mean? You're like, matter of fact, what I heard, you know what I mean? They'll be like, what? Droops? What the fuck? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, and then Droops is dropping some motherfucking Loca's dropping some gems on them. You know what I mean? Yeah, 100%.
No, I agree with
that. So let's get into your story, brother. Let's get into your story. So where do we start? Because first also too, you beat a murder. Yeah. You beat a murder, and your lawyer was Mark Gallegos. Yeah. The famous attorney. I mean, who is some of the people that he has defended? Casey.
Chris Brown. He's Cain Velasquez, Jussie Smollett, Scottie Pippen.
Scottie Pippen.
Pippen. Yeah, sorry. Menendez brothers.
Man. That's a
big one right now.
That's a big one right there.
High profile people.
Yeah, high profile people. You got him to fight your case. We're gonna get to that point, but we kind of want to hang the carrot to these guys real quick. You know what I mean? Yeah. And let them know that this is like, bro, we're gonna lead up to something crazy that happened in your recent life. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So let's start at the beginning, bro.
Yeah.
Where do we start, man?
I mean, Yeah, my parents are from HP, so my mom grew up with Florence. My dad's from HP locals, and kind of just growing up around that, I mean, was exposed to a bunch of stuff, Didn't really connect with my mom until she came back into my life. Like, I was in high school, I want to say like 15 or something, 14, 15. And we just like talked about it, and just like stuff of like, man, I was like 5, 6, in the backseat of drive-bys and like stuff like that where I'm witnessing all this stuff, and at that time I'm thinking it's normal, and like all cool and stuff, and I think when you're kind of exposed to that, you kind of grow up thinking like this is the okay thing to do, and like kind of worshiping it, yeah, and stuff like that. So I mean, we're surrounded by a bunch of we're basically like a trap house. That's how I looked at it, At that time, obviously, I didn't know what a trap house was until you get older and you realize like, oh, yeah, that's what it was. And just being exposed to that, and when both my mom got locked up and my dad got locked up and he got deported and was doing time in Mexico and all that stuff. So not being there to see that, and just kind of growing up around that, you kind of get accustomed to like all right, that's cool, like my parents do it, so I'm gonna do it. And so when me and my grandmother had moved to Boyle Heights, like their Estrada courts, that's when I kind of started seeing little things different. And I don't know, just South Central and East LA are very different, and I love both. In East LA, when I went over there, or Boyle Heights, when I went over there, I was introduced to this guy named will.i.am. Yeah. That everyone I walked into the Costello Park and I was like, why is will.i.am, what the hell is will.i.am? It was like right there on the courts. Whoever's from there, they know what I'm talking about. And that's when like people were like, oh yeah, like he grew up in the projects and he made it out. And I just searched up his story and like how he grew up around that and like was able to do stuff. Now I'm like, oh, that's the guy from Black Eyed Peas. Yeah, who obviously everyone knows the Black Eyed Peas. And like to see where he's at now, that was a glimpse of like, wow, that's someone that I could relate to that made it out and made it big. So now I know, like, I need to get to that level. And so, yeah, I mean, still surrounded by a bunch of stuff and see my grandmother work so much. And I think that's why I just spent a lot of time in the projects and out, as a little kid, My grandma was too busy working. But, I love her. She worked so hard for us, and I'm forever grateful for her, Love her.
Is she still around?
Yeah.
Okay, what's her name?
Huh?
What's her name?
Norma.
Norma.
Yeah,
shout out to Norma.
Yeah, shout out Norma.
Yeah. Love and respect, Norma.
And yeah, shout out. And then I mean, just growing up around that area, Florence area and Boyle Heights was always like a mix of both, because my family's from over, South Central, but then I moved to Boyle Heights, so it's kind of like that weird in between of like, yeah, I live over here, but I grew up over there, all my fam's over there. Yeah. So trying to find like an identity of like, because it's different.
The terrain, I mean, it's a little more black on the South Central side, and then Mexican brown on the other side.
Yeah, exactly. So like, stuff like that.
There's probably a better way of saying that, but
yeah. I what you mean with the people, the culture.
The culture, it's mixed culture in South Central.
Right.
Yeah.
And Boyle Heights is mainly strictly like Latino and stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, seeing all that stuff, witnessing a bunch of stuff. Like I had, stabbings and shootings, the normal stuff that everyone in the hood grows up with.
Yeah.
And it was just kind of something that I didn't really want to do. I feel like I saw my uncles go through it, saw my parents go through it, my best friends at the time go through it, and it was just kind of like seeing y'all get locked up for this, losing y'all lives for this, struggling for this, all that stuff is like, why would I want to chase that? And so, I don't know, I fell in love with music, and it was kind of like my outlet, when my mom would, take me and we would just be doing stuff, hood stuff and whatever. I just would sound out everything with just headphones. Yeah. I would just put headphones and listen to anything. Beatles, Michael Jackson, Rammstein, Marilyn Manson, whatever the case might be, but it was to kind of block off everything.
Escape.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's why I felt like really in love with music. And when I got to 9, got introduced to like YouTube and stuff like that, and was like, yeah, how to play this, how to play that. I remember my grandma bought me like a $30 Amazon guitar that didn't even really play like that. I still have it. I'm never gonna throw it away. Yeah. And I just practiced like running the chords, and instead of like going out and the homies would be like, hey yo, we gotta go do this, that. I'm like, oh, like right now I'll go out. And I'll just be locked up in my room just searching up on YouTube how to play this, how to play Ed Sheeran, how to play all this stuff in my guitar, because I just fell in love with it. And then I kind of realized like I enjoy this more than respectfully being out on the streets.
Yeah.
And so
It takes a strong mind to do that, bro. Because out on the streets is, it's a lot of excitement. And then the girls, too, you know what I mean? The girls is usually the one that drives the dudes out to the streets, you know what I mean? Little honeys, little hood rats, you know what I mean? You know?
Yeah, no, I get what I mean. It's just like, I think since I was just exposed to it very young, I kind of just got the sense of like, I see the bad in it.
There's nothing good out there for
and
me.
there's nothing good. Like I outweighed the pros and the cons, and ever since I was a kid, I always saw that the cons were more than the pros.
Yeah.
So it would be like, you feel me? Like if I tell someone, hey, go do that, you gonna die, and they go do it, I'm just gonna be like, oh, well, I told them. You know, I didn't want someone to look at me stupid. Like, and I got a bunch of the homies from there that would tell me like, hey, don't bang, like don't do this, like, go do something else, and I'm grateful for that. They try to keep me away, and it would be kind of slap in their face if I was like, nah, f that, and then I go do that, and then after their advice they just gave me, so I just kind of took all that in, kind of learned from my mistakes, learned from other people's mistakes around me, and then just kind of made a decision like, I'm gonna just do me, I'm gonna focus on myself. And I just had a clear goal of like, I want to bring everybody up with me, and that was my whole goal. And I think the hardest decision was like isolating myself away from the neighborhood, because everyone around there is like, as I said like earlier, like, hey, come through, like, hey, let's pull up. How to say no, and then them think like, oh, like this fool's tripping, like this fool's like, this fool ain't with it, this fool like, all that. But it's like, at what point do I decide like I gotta focus on myself? So
you weren't worried about the peer pressure, man. You stood above that. You weren't able to be affected by the peer pressure.
Yeah.
I mean, I think a lot of us. I was obviously influenced by my own desires, and then obviously peer pressure comes with it too at times, but I wanted to ask you a question. That Will I Am painting, is that on the Estrada courts?
It's inside the gym, the Costello, which is the Costello Park, which is right in the middle of the projects.
Okay.
It says, I forgot the exact quote, but it says like, Will I Am something, like on the actual court, and I always used to trip on it, like, what does that mean? And then someone had told me like, nah, that's the guy from Black Eyed Peas, and then that's when I found out like, oh yeah, he's from here, and like all that stuff, and that's when I got introduced.
But that's dope that you saw that through a different lens than everybody else. They put that there to let people, to try to have the kids be inspired.
Yeah.
And a lot of them were just like, oh yeah, homie was raised up here too, but you looked at it differently. You know what I mean? You looked at it through a microscope. You know what I mean? You looked at it like in depth. You know what I mean? Like your vision was different than all the other kids of your age bracket at the time. You know what I mean? Which tells a lot about the way you're wired and how mature you were at such a young age. But due to just being in crazy predicaments with mom and everything else, did it make you like a little bit of paranoid, a little very cautious, very just like, nah, fuck all that shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, like, seeing everything my mom went through and my pops went through, like all the stuff they've been through, like, near-death experiences, being locked up, deportation, like my pops serving time in Mexico, like, my mom with all the trouble she was going through, like all that stuff, and all my uncles too. Like I got uncles that were locked up before I was born, and I barely got to meet them like last year. Like they got out like last year, like stuff like that, where it's just kind of saw that and realized that I shouldn't be doing this. I should learn from them, and I wanted to prove to my parents and all my family, like, we can overcome this and stuff like that. So I don't know, I just kind of see the evidence, and the evidence shows me this is a bad life to live. So then why would I chase that?
So instead of them teaching you, you're kind of teaching them.
That was my goal. And, maybe it started off maybe it started off as like a petty thing and a prideful thing of like, yeah, I'm gonna show you I don't need you and I'm gonna do good, right? Maybe it started like that. I don't remember much as a little kid, like my mindset, but it eventually went on to like, I'm not trying to do this in a prideful way, I'm not trying to do this in a petty way, I'm just trying to show y'all, that there is a way out, you feel me? You gotta
come on now, let's go, man.
Yeah.
Damn. That's crazy, bro. I mean, grandma, man, was she a religious person?
Yeah, Catholic. Yeah.
Very, very religious.
Always.
Was it, even though you guys are in the projects? I mean, there can still be a strict household. I mean, did she keep a strict order within the household?
Yeah. I think she really did. I mean, just kept on emphasizing don't do drugs, don't be in gangs, like stuff like that. Look at your mom, look at your dad, learn from them. But I know she was also dealing with all that stuff, and in terms of like still trying to help my mom and stuff like that, and trying to help her other siblings her other children that are dealing with stuff. So she kind of had to just help a bunch of people.
Yeah.
So I know her mindset was focused on, I gotta help this person, and I admired that so much, and I still do to this day, on how much she really just was playing a big part in everyone's life. Even from like my family, like San Diego, where like they're in San Diego and she's still watching over them, trying to take care of them, like stuff like that. That it kind of just like taught me, like, there's no excuse to take a time off. Like, there's no excuse for a break. And, now obviously I kind of see different of like, you should take breaks, you should be easy on yourself. But at that time it was like, no time for breaks. So when you had asked me earlier about like the work ethic, I definitely get it from her. Like, I never saw her sit down and take a break. It was always like clock into work, clock out of work. Okay, cook for us, finish cooking. All right, help us with whatever we got to do, fold our clothes. After that, okay, I got to go help your mom with whatever struggle. Okay, I got to go help your uncle with whatever struggle. Like all that. All right, go to sleep, wake up, work again.
Do you think she had like somewhat of a guilty conscience of the way moms went, or maybe some of her other kids went, that she was trying to make good at maybe this point in your life, you know what I mean, or this stage in her life as well? I mean, did she take blame for maybe mom's, going down the road she went, or maybe some of her kids going down the road? So now she's just like, fuck, man, I fucked up. I got to correct this, or I mean, did she?
Yeah, I mean, I can't speak truly for what she thinks.
Yeah.
If you were to ask me my opinion about it, I mean, perhaps there's probably like a little guilty conscience and stuff like that, which brought her that drive of like, I gotta really help, especially like me and my siblings, of like, I gotta make sure they don't end up like that. I gotta take care and nurture these kids so I don't, or that they don't follow the same mistakes as, our parents and stuff like that. And so, but with that being said, I don't know, I kind of saw it as like, she's already been through a lot. It'd be kind of very selfish of me to make her go through worse. Like she already dealt with that with my parents and uncles and stuff like that. So for her to be like, yeah, I'm gonna invest my time, my years, my money, my sanity, everything for these kids, and then for me to mess up again and be like, yeah, I'm gonna do the same thing as my pops, I'll be right back. I feel like it's super selfish. Like, I wouldn't have done that to her.
Well, kids are usually selfish, bro. And so salute to you once again, man. I'm being unselfish about that and really just thinking about that. I think probably like 8 out of 10 kids don't think about that. It doesn't cross their mind. They're gonna do what they're gonna do, and that's it. I mean, I think just wow, bro. Salute to you once again, bro. I mean, that's dope, brother. And so as you're moving along in your life, your young life, with grandma. You know what I mean? You're juggling all these jobs. I mean, go ahead, take it where you're at. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was in high school where, I mean, you start getting introduced to like all the homies, because I'm still cool with all the project homies, but I had explained to them like, I'm gonna be doing my stuff, but I'm cool with y'all. Like, we grew up in the same block, we grew up playing basketball together. Like, we all cool, but I have like a different vision. And I'm grateful that, I come from a neighborhood that, they're like, you know what? Yeah, that's cool. And I never really got huge backlash. At first, we're all young and stuff like that. You hear you're lame and
Fools
all
gonna
this.
talk shit, yeah.
Yeah, but like over time, like, nah, it was like, all right, do your thing, And so I ended up doing my thing and stuff. And, in high school, you get introduced to like all the homies trying to, get introduced to like selling weed and like stuff like that. To me, I'm like, all right, this is where everyone's gonna start, like, making their, before that it's just little kid stuff, whatever. And then once you kind of get into high school, you get introduced to that, and you start realizing like, okay, this is where like homies are gonna start getting locked up, and homies are gonna get involved with this and all that. So I gotta really be alert, really make sure I don't fall into temptation.
And you're foreseeing all this already.
I'm foreseeing all this since like middle school, and I just kind of thought of like, okay, how can I limit temptation? And so, like, rule number one is, I mean, the biggest temptation I feel like, in my opinion, is like money. Like, you grew up in poverty, you're like, I gotta get money. Whether it's, sometimes it comes from a good, like, like intention, right? Of like, oh, my mom's broke. Okay, let me go sell this weed. Let me go sell this pack real quick to help my mom's. But then like, the action, it just leads on to something else, and it evolves, and then you get locked up and all that stuff. And then is you really helping your mom? So it was like kind of like that of like, okay, how do I limit not even being tempted of like, I got to start selling drugs and stuff like that. So it was like, all right, get a job. It's not going to be, easy money. It's going to be tough and stuff like that. But at least you can say like, oh, okay, I got money, And so, yeah, just, my grandma, would clean offices growing up. And so I started helping her with that. And then, got into Chick-fil-A. for that, I would actually sell a bunch of food at school. I would like be the guy like selling all the chips and like Gatorades and waters and stuff like that. Until I was old enough to get a job at Chick-fil-A at like 16. I applied like at 15, got in at 16, and from there I was like, all right, bet, now I'm gonna get some like big money compared to just like, doing offices and like selling chips and stuff like that. And that was like my first real job, and then was also doing offices after Chick-fil-A and over the weekend too. And then I would like get the Chick-fil-A sandwiches in the morning, come to school and sell Chick-fil-A. So I was known as like the Chick-fil-A dealer. Yeah. So I thought all the homies like we're in the same business but like different products, The only thing I get in trouble for is if like the school just tells me to stop, whatever. My coach, they tell my coach, don't play this kid, like he was caught saying Chick-fil-A, but I can't get in trouble legally. Yeah. So I mean,
what are you in here? What are you in here for?
Flipping
yeah, but it made good money because at first
Spicy or not spicy?
both. At first it was like no one ordered, I'm just gonna bring whatever, you guys buy whatever, and then it got I was making maybe like on a good day I would make like 200 a day. Wow. And then because I would bring like 20 sandwiches and sell them for like 5, but then the demand got so high that people were like, now I'll buy it for 10, now I'll buy it for 20. So I had people buying like Chick-fil-A sandwiches for $20 on my life. On my life, people exactly, like $20 for a sandwich. I was like, oh, y'all tripping, but here you go, like I ain't gonna complain. And then it became like, hey, if you add fries to the next time, like I had $1 or $2. Yeah. All right, bet. So I started taking fries and then started to take drinks. So I would just go buy like Capri Suns or like sodas and then just do that. And I would make like $200, $300 a day. Wow. Yeah, I was making a bunch and then made just stupid decisions. I wasted money on like video games and instruments. The instruments, it was a good investment. Yeah. But I wasted all my money on like food and I wish I would have just saved it, but I mean, whatever.
Did you read books at a younger age to kind of just obtain the knowledge, the wisdom? I mean, were you reading books?
Honestly.
Or was it just trial and error from learning from your family? I mean, did you just naturally gifted with discernment, Yeah.
I did read books, but I don't think I read as much as like
people would expect
what
with
people
someone
would exactly there you go.
With the head that you had on your shoulders at such an early age.
Yeah, I think for me, like where I learned all my stuff, like as you said earlier, YouTube, and I remember like I would just search up random stuff. My favorite movie is Interstellar. I love space, and after Interstellar, I just like went on this whole rabbit hole for like 2-3 years where I still have the notebook where I'll just watch YouTube on like physics and quantum mechanics and like dimensions and just like take my notes and study. Yeah. All through YouTube. So I think that was where I learned most of my stuff compared to like actual books, in my opinion.
You said quantum physics?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, like I don't know. It just kind of started as like, oh, this is interesting. Let me find out about it, and then you kind of get into depth with it, and then you just kind of come to the realization of like, wow, this is actually interesting. Like people don't be focused on this. People don't be like worried about this stuff, I
mean, when you start learning stuff like that, your mind's gonna calculate a whole lot different than the average person that's consuming some, music videos or something.
Yeah. I feel like when I really got into that phase of like learning about that stuff, I kind of came to the conclusion of like, wow, the world's really small, and I think I realized like, damn, like at that time, obviously living in the courts, it's like 6-7 blocks, stuff like that, and you like my whole world was revolved around those blocks and like where my fam's from, South Central, where I was always kind of back and forth, right? But for this sake, just Boyle Heights, those same 7 blocks. Then you kind of learn about quantum physics and space and dimension, and you realize the world is the space, everything, the whole universe is ginormous.
Yeah, and it's a whole lot bigger than these 7 blocks.
And I'm tripping about these 7 blocks.
Yeah.
Like, what am I tripping for? And then you kind of realize and you kind of, go on YouTube and you start searching up. I'm curious. Let me just search up different countries. And that's when I, found out that there's so many problems around the world that why am I tripping about, whatever's going on in my neighborhood.
Yeah, hot Cheetos, you know what I mean?
People are like, and I came to a realization, crack. I started discovering, North Korean refugees that escaped to South Korea but can't get a job because they don't know how to operate a phone.
Yeah.
Stuff like that, Cuba that don't have anything. When I went to Cuba, I went to Cuba for like 2 weeks. I asked for salt. They're like, oh, we don't have salt. Like stuff like that. I ordered a salad. It was 1 piece of lettuce with 1 tomato on top because they don't have much veggies. Stuff like that where I'm thinking like, damn, over there in Boyle Heights, like I had a salad. Like, we didn't have much, but I could make, better salad than this. And the people in Cuba literally don't have anything for the embargo and all this stuff. And I'm tripping about, my problems at home. And I think I started to come to a realization that, there's so many problems at a bigger scope that a lot of people don't really worry about and focus on. And then once you kind of realize that, you kind of realize damn, maybe my problems aren't as bad. Like, they are bad, don't get me wrong. Everyone from the hood, we come from a terrible situation. But you kind of get filled with this gratitude of like, okay, maybe I didn't have my parents. This was my mindset. Like, okay, maybe my parents weren't here, but the way I took it is like, maybe if they were in my life, maybe if my mom didn't get locked up, maybe if my dad didn't get deported to Mexico and stuff like that, maybe if they were in my life, I would have chosen the gang route, because I would have seen it maybe a lot more or been influenced a lot more, whatever. But the fact that they left, it switched my mindset of like, man, they left me. Like, all right, that's cool. I'm gonna do my own thing. I'm gonna prove them wrong. So that's when I started realizing that, like, people are so focused on like the small stuff and they don't really see the bigger picture.
Well, I think a lot of us, even grown people to this day, I mean, maybe sometimes myself too, you know what I mean? We can't get out the little bubble that we're in. We don't see beyond, our backyard. Yeah. You know, and that's a serious problem. And fortunately for you, you were raised up in social media world where you were able to, flip on YouTube and you can escape the projects for that 30 minutes or however long that YouTube video is, and you can be in another on another planet. You can be in you can be in Cuba. You can be wherever. And I think that it's a great benefit for kids if they do use the social media, the YouTube, everything. They use it wisely instead of just filling their brain up with just a bunch of nonsense. But what do you think? What do you think the statistic, man? You are a small statistic on ones that kind of like make it out the hood, or a small statistic in regards to people that are able to isolate themselves and not get pressured by the peer pressure, not get pressured by the oppressed by the environment that is so dense, you know what I mean, and it's generational, you know what I mean. So this is generational fucking trauma. These are generational, wrong decisions, bad decisions. They're just like it's embedded in their fucking bro. It's just like fuck, dog, and you were able to do it. I mean, what do you think is the percentage of kids that are able to like get a full scholarship to USC to make it out the projects?
To be fair, I've
1 out of 100.
I haven't met anyone at USC,
right?
That's come from my background. I met one girl, shout out her. I won't say her name, but shout out her. She had a similar situation, but she grew up in the South with like her family involved and stuff like that. And she goes to USC, so that makes two of us. Out of that, never met anyone. In terms of other colleges, I'm sure there's more and stuff like that.
Yeah.
From my experience, from what I've seen from the school I go to, it's only been two of us my past 4 years.
It might be like 1 out of 1,000.
It's really
or
rare.
something.
I go to USC Village a lot, and I never see Latinos. Honestly, it's a lot of Indians.
It sounds like winning the
white.
lottery.
Yeah. I never see a Latino.
Yeah,
or Latina.
there are Latinos like in like, because I'm in like involved with like a bunch of Latino clubs and stuff like that. But I think like they don't come from this background. It'll be like Latinos that and no judgment, like they're
Latinos raised right.
They're raised right from a good family.
Ranch Cucamonga or something, Orange County.
Yeah, they're raised in a good area, or even from like these Latin countries. But if you come from if you're international, like say you're coming from Peru, you don't get financial aid. They don't help you. You don't get money from the school. So then you have to pay the $100,000 a year. So then if they're coming from Argentina, you Latino, but you have to have money to pay $100,000 a year.
100%. And so you said you've done some traveling. When did you start doing traveling? When did you start traveling?
Yeah, so when I got into USC, when you apply to Marshall, they ask you a bunch of questions, as I explained earlier, and one of the questions was, what's your dream? What's your goal? And I had talked about like starting the label, and I kind of intertwined it with like, because I want to really mix culture, which is music is a part of culture, with like philanthropy and really helping people. And I remember that specific question was talking mainly about how I envision myself starting a nonprofit, and that's really entwined with culture and entertainment and music, where we go around the world like really bringing unity, like true unity. So I had mentioned like 3 different examples. One of them was I want to go to Russia and help the heroin problem. People don't know this, but Russia struggles with the #1 heroin usage in the world.
Wow.
So and then it goes with like that, and then like as I mentioned earlier, with like there's a bunch of North Korean refugees that go to South Korea thinking like, oh, I'm gonna live a better life, and they've actually said that they live worse in South Korea because they don't know how to operate anything, like no phone, no computer, so they can't get a job, so they're forced to live on the streets. They have a different dialect. They don't have family there. at least back in their country, they didn't have much food, they didn't have much money, but they had their families, stuff like that. A lot of people that don't really think about. And then my third example was I wanted to go help Mexico's cartel problem, and like how can we make a strategy where we can bring peace. And so that was my whole application. And the way it works is they assess the applications and see who has a global mindset, and they move them on to this program called GLP, Global Leadership Program.
Okay.
And so in that program, you travel to different countries and really learn the business dynamics in different countries. So the first country I went to was like Thailand, and where we got to visit like different sectors in Thailand, like, the entrepreneurship sector, the food sector, the tech sector, all that stuff, visiting different CEOs and sitting in the meetings when they're making their decisions, and like just really learning the business aspect and seeing how countries like Thailand operate with the US. And then it goes into politics, because you got international laws, you got relations of like, oh, this country doesn't like this country, so how do we work around it to make business? And everything has always correlated me to the politics we have here in LA, because it's the exact translation. The hood politics that comes from gangbanging and stuff like that is the same politics these countries face.
Yeah.
The only thing is a different name. Oh, China doesn't like this. That's the same thing as like saying like, oh yeah, Estrada doesn't like this hood, and stuff 100%. Like that. So it's the same strategy. So that's how I kind of incorporated it. Like, damn, global strategy and really like working with like international relations is the same thing like over here in the hood politics.
Hand in hand with some gang shit.
And I started thinking like, dude, there's so many people that are amazing people from different neighborhoods over here in LA that have brought peace treaties, that have actually helped in improving communities. And if they knew that they could get a job working as an ambassador or an IR for the government, and really bring unity to countries and stuff like that, like, it would be amazing to see that. But I mean, they don't know about it. Either they don't know about it or the resources aren't there for them, And so I guess, just seeing different countries like that, got to really learn from that, come back. And I mean, Thailand just changed my life because it was the first time I was outside the country. And
how long did it take you to get to Thailand?
Oh, 20 hours.
20 hours. Is it a 20-hour straight? Or are you doing some layoffs or something?
16 to Taiwan. And then Taiwan, we had like our layover, and then 4 hours.
Was that your first time taking a plane ride?
Yeah. I had gone to like Chicago and like stuff like that, but like outside the country, yeah.
So was it nerve wracking? Was it intimidated by it? Like, you know what I mean?
Both.
Like, fuck, I'm going to Thailand, bro. You know what I mean? You're going by yourself, or who are you going with? You going with the school?
Yeah, I'm going with the
students?
School. Yeah.
So these are kids that that you're in class with?
Yeah.
Okay, so you kind of can lean on each other then in a sense.
Yeah. So it was that GLP program that I was saying, the global leadership program. So it gets split into two. So half the class goes to Thailand, the other half goes to Sydney, Australia. Okay. So I was in the Thailand group. And we go as a cohort, it's like 50 of us. And we're all there for like different types of business. There's people that want to go into like real estate. There's people that want to go into finance. There's people that want to go into banking, all that. But at the end of the day, they all want to go into that global business. Okay. So, for me, it was more of like that, like IR/relations and community work and stuff like that.
And so the school lines all that up. Where you're staying at, your transportation, like everything is structured for you out there. So you actually have no worries. You just got to follow the line in a sense.
Pretty much.
Or wake up and meet at this spot and we're going here. And you actually got a full schedule, right? You
get a full schedule. It's like work, like a 9 to 5, where it was like, all right, be up at. I think our average day was like be up at 6. They're like business people, CEOs are up at 6.
100%.
So we'll start at 6 and then finish the day at like 5, and then after that it was like, all right, go explore.
Yeah, and so your first thought, bro, like getting off in Thailand. I mean, obviously you're going to be culture shocked. You know what I mean, they're going to be culture shocked for seeing you. You're going to be culture shocked for being there. You know what I mean? There's a lot going on.
The lady boys.
Yeah.
I mean, what was the first thing that just like, whoa? You know what I mean? Like this shit's real. I'm in fucking Thailand, bro. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I remember.
Motorbikes.
They have a bunch of motorcycles. They're hardly cars. I mean, they do have cars, but it's mainly motorcycle. But I think the big thing was, this is still my freshman year, where, I mean, transitioning from the hood to USC.
Yeah, high school. Where'd you go to high school at?
I went to Roosevelt.
Okay.
Roosevelt. Yeah. Shout out. Yeah. Okay. And from there, going to USC, I was like, man, like now I dress a little bit differently, but like still like, but at that time it was just like, the long white socks, Cortez. I pulled up to Thailand in Cortez's, an LA hat, and Pro Club, like all that. So I remember
represent.
Represent. Yeah, I had to, and and I remember like stepping out of the plane, and first thing is hot as hell. no air. But
kind of like it is in here right now. Is the door open, bro?
Yeah.
Okay, I turned the AC off
Oh, no,
because
you're good. It's
it
good.
blows on top of you, bro.
Yeah,
but
no, you're
I feel
good.
like we need to on right now. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, but I think the main thing is, first of all, is like the scenery, like obviously like the trees, the green, the plants, like the animals.
Is it
like,
beautiful?
It's like I don't know if it was a squirrel. Yeah, beautiful. But it was like their squirrels over there aren't brown. They're like black and white.
Yeah.
So that tripped me out.
Like
you know?
black squirrels, huh?
Yeah, and I was like,
Huh.
what the hell? I never seen. You know, like stuff like that where that's the first initial like, oh my gosh.
But they're still doing like squirrel business. They're looking for the nut, right?
Yeah, they just
Okay.
running around. They're doing this stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then but like outside of that, it's just like the coat. Like it kind of reminds me of like Mexico. Like I described it as like I feel like I'm walking around Tijuana. You know,
Okay.
where like everyone's just hustling right there and they're
chicle.
Yeah. Like hey, you know, you got the same little kids that you're off the plane. They're like, oh, here, you know, like those kids are trying to
sell you a social security card or something.
Yeah, like you know stuff like that. And so I was like, okay, it's cool. It's similar to like TJ in like that sense.
Yeah.
And then when we got to like the hotel, it's like, you know, we were in the middle of Bangkok, and the hotel we were like at the Grand, so it was like, you know,
top of the top,
all luxury,
Yeah.
top of the top,
Okay.
like free, like all you can eat, like all that stuff. Where I was like tripped out. Like I've never been treated this way.
Yeah, and all you can eat. So we're eating Thailand food, right?
Thailand food,
Yeah.
pad thai, like big ass lobster, like all the.
Was
all
it
this
good
stuff.
or what?
Yeah, amazing.
Yeah,
Love
I
it.
mean,
Yeah,
you were able to experience. Your palate was able to experience some different tastes of the different culture, right?
Yeah.
And so were you hesitant on like, oh, what the fuck is that shit right there? You know what I mean?
Nah.
No,
I
shit's still
love
moving.
I love you. No, they actually I didn't run into that.
No.
No, at least at the hotel. There was like some at like I forgot what the market's called, but it's like the world's biggest like street market. It's like the swap meet, but like hella big.
Yeah.
Like over there they have like the live food and stuff like that. Where they give it to you on a stick
Scorpions
and it's still moving.
and shit.
Yeah, like
Is
all
that
that
like
stuff. I was like, I'm
the
good.
Santiago?
Yeah. I'm good.
I'm
But like the
impressed.
other stuff, no, it was like chill and it was amazing. All the food's amazing. But I think like the main thing that really shocked me, like at the end of the day, that actually like got me emotional and was like I think that was like probably like the first day in my life where I wasn't tripping on anything. Like I wasn't tripping about like money. I wasn't tripping about like my family. I wasn't tripping about like, you know, you over here you walk and you gotta
over your shoulder.
look over your shoulder over there. Like I'm like so focused on like, oh my gosh, like this is I want to go do that. I want to go try this stuff like that I'm not watching over my shoulder. You know, I know I'm good. Like no one from over here knows who I am. Like it's all good.
Yeah.
And then at the end of the day, like I realized like that was probably the most peaceful day I've ever had. You know, I didn't have to trip on none of that. So I think that was like the biggest like shock.
Like
For sure.
vacation.
Yeah, exactly. Like true vacation.
Just chilling.
Exactly.
Well,
exactly.
it was most definitely a different headspace in your life that you really never really experienced. A headspace of just like, you know, of peace. Yeah, thank you, Ray.
Exactly.
Of peace and really to be able to just dial in on what's in front of you and enjoy the moment, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I kind of we skipped the Roosevelt, the high school thing.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, but was there kids? You know, what I mean, were you obviously you were on top of the Roosevelt academically in school?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like, what do you mean, like exactly about the kids?
I mean, you were on top of the academic program with those Roosevelt.
I was I think I graduated number 4 or 6. I
4
don't
or
remember.
6.
Somewhere around that range. I was top 10. I just forgot what number. I know I was
That's the
like in the middle.
Chick-fil-A plug?
Huh?
And you're also the Chick-fil-A plug?
And I was also a Chick-fil-A plug. Yeah. Like, that's all people knew me. There was people that didn't even know who I was. They were just like, because I would have, it got to a point where I would have people go sell for me. Like, I would just like, oh, you know, and yeah, so I told you, like, I told the homies, like, we in the same business, just different product, you know?
Yeah.
But, like, you guys want to stick to that? Like, I'm trying to tell y'all could do something else. You feel me? Like, do it in a legal way where you don't get yourself caught.
Did you play?
know?
You played sports in Roosevelt?
Yeah, I played football and basketball.
You played football and basketball. How were you?
That's pretty cool. I think at that time I was just more focused on work that I didn't really care about sports at the time. Growing up, I love sports.
Yeah.
Loved playing football and stuff like that. I think it was like in my senior year where I stopped caring. I was gonna drop the team. I had told my coach, I'm out and stuff like that. It was like to my senior year. Everyone looks forward. You know, once you're a senior, it's like you guys you run the team and stuff like that.
Yeah.
At that time, I think I was more focused on like post high school, and I'm like I can either focus on this or not. And then also it was during COVID during that time. So I know like me and a bunch of like a few of my other teammates, we had like got invited to like a Oregon State camp and like a New Mexico camp and stuff like that. COVID hit. And the camps are like, oh, we're not gonna do this no more. So it was kind of like, all right, yeah, that dream's dead. Like I gotta focus on something new and stuff like that. And I told my teammates too, like, I wasn't trying to be disrespectful, but a few of them I talked to them like, you guys should have a plan B. You know, so you know, you get hurt in sports, you know, or something happens, you know, stuff like that. You gotta have a plan B. And so for me, my plan B was like, okay, well, I'm gonna keep good grades so that I could go to a top school.
Yeah.
So it's like if sports don't work out, like at least I have this. And then senior year I was just like, I'm just gonna full ride this. Which got me to where I'm at.
Well, you got to
now.
be realistic too, because how many Mexicans are in the NBA? How many Mexicans?
Yeah.
How many Latinos are in the NFL? You know what I mean? And then you got these parents pushing them fucking hardcore, bro. Like you know what I mean? You know, you're training them around the block, and they're kind of setting them up for failure in a sense. You know what I mean? Putting all their eggs in one basket. But good for you that you were in charge of yourself and your future, and you were choosing right, and you did good, bro, by just trying to tell them, hey, you got to have a plan B. But back to Thailand, man. So that's your freshman year at USC, and well, let's talk about you getting accepted into USC from high school. I think that's a big chapter, big pivotal point in your young life, bro, of actually getting. How do you receive that? Does someone pop up at your door with a USC jacket on, you know what I mean? And fucking,
hey,
congratulations.
Congratulations, you know what I mean? How does that work out, bro?
They'll send you packages while you're applying. So if they see you're applying, and they'll like send you packages of like, hey, make sure you finish your application, or like stuff like trying to lure you in and stuff like that.
Encourage you to keep on pursuing it.
And then they end up sending you more once you already get accepted, but you still have time to, once they've already given you the decision, but you still have time to accept. And during that time period, they're just sending you a bunch of stuff. So I had applied to, if I remember correctly, 26 schools. And I got into all of them except one that I had gone to 2 interviews and then got cut, but it was Stanford. It was the only school that.
And so why did Stanford cut you when USC accepted you? I mean, what is the prerequisites? Thank you, Casey.
Well, Stanford's also really hard to get into.
And what is Stanford known for?
Stanford
Mark
is
Zuckerberg.
Mark Zuckerberg. Yeah, I think so. Yeah, and then they're known for business. They have a good law program. Honestly, overall, Stanford is actually pretty good. But like it's like business, law.
It's like USC
finance.
to the north, essentially.
Yeah. It's like honestly, a lot of people.
I mean,
say
you're not gonna
like,
go to Stanford to get to the NBA, right?
Not really. I'm trying to think if there's like.
You're gonna go to like
They
UCLA,
are.
USC.
There's a few.
You're gonna go to Stanford.
You want? Yeah. They have good.
Yeah,
you know.
absolutely. There's certain roads that you're going to take, certain colleges that you're going to pursue to get to your
Yeah, and I want to go to Stanford for like business and stuff like that. I think they have the economics program. They don't have there's a lot of schools like UCLA doesn't have a business program. They have an economics program.
Yeah.
And then you go into business once you go to your masters and stuff like that. But USC is great, like amazing enough that they have like the business for your undergrad. And so when I was applying to that, I had gotten into like Berkeley, USC, UCLA, Long Beach, Gonzaga, but all these bunch of schools. Stanford was the only one. And I don't know, I had the interviews. It was cool. I was speaking to a lady. I think where I really messed up, like I killed the interview, I feel like, in my opinion. But there was one question that I answered that I could tell like kind of left a weird taste in her mouth, which I'm like, cool. I'm not trying to assume. But she had asked me, if you had $1 million, what would you do? And I said I would reinvest into my community.
Oh.
And I don't think she liked that.
Yeah.
Like she was like, "Oh, you're not gonna like invest into like business?" And I was like, "Well, yeah."
That would be business.
Yeah, I'm like, yeah, like I don't, yeah, and
It's a different type of business.
not trying to assume. Maybe there was other factors where like, he's not qualified, but I don't know. In my head, I was like, from that point, it kind of felt like you can tell when moods change.
Felt the
100%.
shift.
Yeah,
She's like, the streets got him still.
Yeah, she was like, damn, all right, and then I didn't get it, but I'm like, God's good, God knows. Like,
Well, you're kind of a risky dude to bring into their establishment, right?
Yeah.
In a sense, you know what I mean, knowing your background, knowing where you're coming from, and maybe they're very apprehensive, very selective on you're kind of like what do you call it, bro? You're a wild card, bro.
a wild card, yeah.
You're kind of a wild card, bro. Regardless of your academics and your grades and shit, they're probably looking at your background. I mean, that's me outside looking in and thinking about it. I don't know, but So okay, fuck Stanford, bro. You know what I mean? So what was the top 5? What was the top 5 schools, bro, that you wanted to go to that you got accepted, but you ended up going to USC?
Top 5
or top 3, bro.
Top
whatever.
3.
Yeah.
I think USC, UCLA, Berkeley, and then just add the 4th, Oregon.
Okay.
I wanted to stay West Coast. I didn't really want to go East Coast.
Yeah.
I wanted to be close enough to my fam where I could book a flight the same day and be there the same day, And so Oregon was amazing. They sent me a bunch of stuff. They sent me a whole VR headset that I still have. Oregon sent me a bunch of stuff. And I was like, sorry, no, not really. Because it just made better sense to
Oh,
go
they
to
sent
USC.
you a VR? They were sending you gifts,
they sent you a bunch of stuff. They sent you a bunch of stuff.
I want you to drop that bag. That's why.
Yeah, Gonzaga sent me like some
Gonzaga,
like
that's a
shirts
big
and
dog
like
sport
merch
there.
and like they'll just send you a bunch of stuff to try to like reel you in and stuff. Berkeley, they were gonna fly me out, but I rejected last minute. You know, I really wanted to go to Berkeley. There's a special program called the GMP program. The same thing as like the global leadership, but it's called Global Management Program. Yeah. Which is very hard. I think only 30 to 50 students get in per year. Yeah. Which is with the acceptance rates to Berkeley, plus that program on top of it, makes it like one of the hardest programs. I think top 3 hardest programs to get into the nation, along with like Harvard and MIT and their special programs. It's like if I remember that year, it was like a 0.02% chance. And I had checked like the recent years of that, and like, I mean, there's no Latino or black person on that. It's just all Asian and white. Wow. And I was like, damn, I would be, as you said, like a wild card. I'd be a funny wild card, like, you know, taking a picture pro clubbed out, Lokes on and stuff like that. With a bunch of like, like I thought it would be hilarious. And I really wanted to go just like, you know,
prove them wrong.
For that, like, like to prove them wrong, to kind of show like, oh yeah, like I'd probably be like the only one from my background.
Be an avatar in the crowd.
Yeah, and with that program, you're in a different country for a whole semester every single year.
That's
so
crazy.
I would have started in London, not Berkeley, if I would have accepted that. But at the end of the day, I was like, nah, I want to be close to fam. And then USC, I got into the Thailand program, and I was like, it just makes better sense. Yeah. Maybe go to USC.
And so when you finally got accepted to USC, how was that presented to you? Back to my question.
Yeah, it was an email. I remember I was walking to class. I got it, but I didn't want to open it. I was really nervous, and I got into the kitchen, and then
Were you walking to class to where? High school?
I was walking from from school to home. I don't know why I said class. Okay. I was walking. It was like
from high school.
Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe like. Well, I got off like at 3:30, like maybe like 4 p.m. at this time. Okay. And then, I opened it, and then it said I got accepted, and also to like the leadership program and like all that stuff. And then they said like full ride, and I was just like thrown off. And I mean, I got emotional. Hell yeah, like I'll admit that. Like I remember like crying. Yeah, for sure. I was like,
shit. If I was walking with you, I'd have been crying too.
Man,
bro.
I was just like, wow, it just threw me off guard, cause like
the homie made it.
Yeah, cause some part of me is like, you know. Yeah, I had the confidence. I remember a lot of homies that they don't even know that I know this, but like when I posted like, oh yeah, when I had submitted my application, I put loading Trojan without even getting the decision. Yeah. Kind of like an ego thing. Yeah, I know, like probably a little prideful now thinking about it, but at that time I was like, yeah, I'm gonna get in. Like, yeah, I'm not tripping. Yeah. And then when I got in, it like hit me. Like, oh, like this is not like just me being confident. Like this is like real. You know?
You put it into the universe.
And then I accepted that same day. That's when I rejected the Berkeley visit. I accepted that same day to USC.
Wow, brother. And who was the first person you told?
Grandmother. She was right there with me.
Was she?
Yeah. Shout out grandmother.
She cry?
Yeah, she did.
Wow.
Yeah. So
from her breeding all them fuck ups to finally having a USC student. She felt like Rick said the lottery, and she felt like she won the lottery that day.
Yeah,
huh?
I said that's why back to like the point I mentioned earlier of like it would have been selfish if I would have just messed up and not gone the route that I chose right now. Like I feel like seeing that, like me actually getting in and like showing her and proving to her like I'm gonna get through it, you know, because you get in and now the hard part is like actually getting through it. You feel me? And what's it called, like, you know, showing her that I'm gonna get through it, and like now, I mean, 2 weeks I graduate, kind of I want to, like, this is for her. That's the way I kind of see it.
Absolutely. And so let's pay some bills real quick, and then I think we're going to get, I'd like to get into some other countries that you traveled. Yeah. And also, too, during this time as a student at USC, you caught a murder charge, and we'll get into that as well. Yeah. We're going to be right back with Ivan Gallegos, man. Appreciate everybody tapping in right now. Hit that like and stay tuned, man. We're about to get into the probably part of the story that the majority of this audience likes to hear, unfortunately. They're like, give us the juicy shit, man. You know what I mean? Casey, take it away, brother. Let's go.
What up, everybody? Shockwear, it's more than streetwear. It's a culture of lifestyle, individuality, and self-expression through clothes. We need you to go to shockwear.com and use code HoodStocks15. It's that simple, HoodStocks15. Use code HoodStocks15, okay? Shockwear.com, baby. Looking for some good quality cannabis? We mean killer quality cannabis. Hit the folks at Killakushcali. They specialize in bringing you the best thing from OG to exotic. Let me tell you, they got it all, baby. So hit them up at killakushcali@gmail.com, dude. That's Killakushcali@gmail.com, right, Loca?
That's right. Killakush.
Or you hit them up at Drip Fits Apparel in the city of Whittier for the latest Killakush merch. All right, it's located at 13800 Leffingwell Road, Whittier, California. Have they invited you to work there, Loca, at Drip Fits?
No, they haven't.
Okay, because I know, you know, they do guest spots certain weekends. Like
Nicolas is always calling me, though.
Shout out to that cafe, Nicolas, right? Hey, fat ass, you need to lose weight. Check this out. Ozempic Vince, 714-269-1900. That's LApeptides.com, right? Use code HoodStocks20 to get 20% off that ass, all right? HoodStocks20 to get 20% off the scale, okay? LApeptides.com, Ozempic, Vince. We're calling all bakers and chefs. Upgrade your kitchen with Origin Bakery and Restaurant equipment. Top quality ovens, mixers, and more at unbeatable prices, right? Perfect for your next culinary creation. What do you like to bake, Loca?
Cookies.
Cookies. Well,
You know
guess what?
Kind of cookies?
Oh, like space cookies. Well, guess what? Origin Bakery could give you the equipment to make the best space cookies in the world, all right? And that's at 10441 Russ Street in the city of South Amani. Okay, you can check them out online, Origin Bakery Equipment. And if you want their phone number, we got it for you, 626-579-3580. Prime Equity Mortgage, ladies and gentlemen, it's officially a buyer's market, okay? Home values are softer than last year, and that creates both opportunity and urgency, all right? If you're a homeowner thinking about consolidating debt, now may be the time to act while your home value is still strong. Waiting can limit how much you could borrow in the future. So if you're looking to buy, get pre-approved so you're ready to strike when the right deal hits. It's free and it only takes 5 minutes of your time, okay? That's Andrew Quezada and his team at Prime Equity Mortgage. They have access to over 50 plus banks and have helped thousands of people throughout the Southland, okay? For 15 years to be exact. So call 626-825-6565. 626-825-6565, or you can find Andrew on Instagram and TikTok at andrewquezada.homeloans. Hey, we got the King Kong lawyer in the courtroom, right? He's kicking ass, so you don't have to. That's criminal defense attorney Doug Sherrod. That's kingkonglawyer.com. kingkonglawyer.com. And we got a new sponsor, right? You can see them right there. Melrose Fashion. Antonio and Ashley are out of the Midwest from Des Moines, Iowa, okay? Their store is called Melrose Fashion. Melrose Fashion. They have all the West Coast streetwear from Shockaware, Ben Davis, Dickies, Levi's, FB County to SDL, and so much more. They also have their own clothing line, and that's called Melrose Boulevard, okay? So if you're in the area, go in. And here is the address. Iowa, stand up. That's 3850 MERLE Hay Road. Merle Hay Road. Inside Merle Hay Hall in Des Moines, Iowa. Check them out. And they ship all over the United States, man. Hit up their website at melrose-fashion-square.site, okay? melrose-fashion.square.site, okay? And, of course, you can get all your Hoodstocks merch at www.50racks.com. And I think we're still here. I don't think anybody's loaded back in yet, so it's just Loca and I. Loca, how was your week?
Oh man, amazing.
What'd you do?
I jumped off of boats.
What?
And I floated.
Damn, you went swimming?
I don't even know how to swim.
You went to the lake? You were out in San Diego?
No.
I thought you were looking for a welder out there in San Diego.
Man.
I thought maybe you were out there.
No, I was looking for a welder for some work. That the homie has his own business, so we found one actually. So actually on Instagram we found a welder.
Nice. So how's it been going?
It's been good.
You can give me a ride after this? Oh yeah, how'd it go yesterday?
Yeah. Where do you want me to give you a ride to?
I need to get a ride back to Boyle Heights.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I gotta start my shift at Figueroa after this. And I don't have my car, so if you could pimp me out on Figueroa, you know what I mean? Homie. Fuck it, I'll make some cash.
Little elf, I got you.
Yeah, at least you could break me off like 5 bills tonight. Fuck it, I'll take it.
No, can't do that.
No?
You need a sugar mama for that.
Well, I mean, I'll go work for it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I'll go hit the fig.
Okay.
We'll talk about it. But everybody in the chat has just been going crazy for you, Loca. They miss you. They're like, put the camera on Loca. She has such a great outfit today. Right? So we just want to say, everybody in the chat, you guys, can you throw some fires in the chat if you guys love Loca's fit? I mean, maybe if you throw enough fire, she could spin for you guys and stand up. But we at least need to get, yeah. Or if someone sends $10 to what's her cash app is KCX Orozco. That's her cash app. I think my cash app is KC Orozco 23.
Gen Hot 4.
It's Gen Hot 4?
Yeah.
Gen Hot 4, yeah.
She's like, let me get this cash app right. Don't be messing that shit up right there.
Yeah, so send that cash app through, guys.
Send the little elf. He needs more.
Look at all those fires. Look at there it goes. There it goes.
Right.
Hey, Loco, we gotta do another vlog with us walking and shit. That shit's doing really good,
dude,
man.
Yeah, that shit is crazy. I was like, bro, Loca, dude, killed it.
They just like watching her walk, bro. You know what I mean? You know, she's got to walk down the street and have a camera person on her, and shit, numbers go up, baby.
Let's go.
Yes. All right, we're back right here, man. Let's go. Let's get back on. Got Ivan back right here, and so where we left off is okay. So you get accepted into USC, man, and you get a part of this global program. What's the program called again?
GOP.
GOP, yeah. And so you're able to travel different countries. I mean, what was the worst thing you saw in Thailand?
Ping pong show.
Wow. Yeah.
He's been there, bro.
Yeah. Okay, I was about to say. Yeah,
up.
I got invited to. Someone came into me with a car. They're like, "Come to a ping pong show." I'm over here like ignorant. I did not know what they were
Scoot in
talking
a little
about.
more.
I did not know they were talking about.
There you go. Yeah. No, you're good. It's just when that other view.
Oh,
Was,
yeah.
Yeah. You're good.
Yeah, I didn't know what they were talking about until someone explained to me, a local. I mean, like every other country, I mean, Thailand, there was parts where we saw where it's just like poverty, right? I mean, you know, you kind of see it, but as I said, like the best way I could refer or explain it to or compare it to is like TJ. It felt very, very much like TJ and seeing that side. I think, you know, there's a lot of like the huge prostitute scene with like everyone like always talking about like the lady boys and stuff like that. Like, that's very prominent everywhere.
Yeah.
And so, like seeing that, other than that, I you know, people really carry themselves with like a lot of like joy. Like everyone there is like vibey, you know, very nice, respectable, you know. And so, and not to say like I didn't expect that, but I mean, I think with the mindset we grew up in, it's like we're always like kind of, you know, precautious and careful with people. But like now, like the Thai people just like brought us in with like good arms and stuff like that. So that was like kind of like a shock of like, you know, kind of
Really nice people.
Yeah.
Loving people.
Yeah.
But the part where you're in too is you're kind of like on the tourist side. Were you like on the tourist side?
Yeah, we're definitely more on the tourist side, but we got to see the whole city and stuff like that. So
Gotcha.
you know, one thing that I really wanted to see, and you know, and the group that I was with,
Close idea.
is it was like how is it outside of the tourist side?
Sorry about that.
No, you're good. You're
Too
good.
much.
We'll wait.
Yeah.
Like the tourist side,
Remind me to lock that too, yeah?
and really seeing like the side where people actually live.
Yeah.
You know, like getting away from the mall side, getting away from the hotels, getting away from all that, and just walking around. You just got like, you know, I feel like at least over here, a lot of kids really don't go out much in terms of like seeing them play as much as like before. Like when I was growing up, I feel like I saw a lot. Now I kind of walk, you know, and obviously things are like, you know, dangerous and stuff like that. And I get why like parents want to keep their kids inside and stuff like that. Like over there, all the kids are like out, joy and fun, you know. And so it was really good to see like both sides, the tourist side and also like where they actually live, not the non-tourist side.
Yeah. And what was one of the worst things you saw or maybe you experienced?
The worst? No, as I said, like I think just seeing like the whole how the prostitute scene is everywhere in terms of like where people aren't on the tourism side. It's just like the poverty stuff. Like you see kids like eating off the ground.
Yeah. Okay.
So like
so just poverty then.
Yeah, poverty is the main thing that I saw.
Yeah.
That, you know, it kind of does suck, but I don't know, it's just kind of heartbreaking to see them like still laugh through it. You know,
Still laugh
and,
through
like,
it, yeah.
like the kids are like laughing, like they don't see a problem, and I get. I mean, if you're exposed to that, you know, they don't know anything more to it, that, you know, they just think it's cool and stuff like that. It's kind of heartbreaking to see, like, damn, like I wish I had a plate to offer them at the moment so they don't have to eat off the ground, like stuff like that. But I mean, other than that, you know, I love the country. It's amazing.
Absolutely. Would it be a place that you'd go back to?
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah. The food, the culture, amazing. The music.
Music, huh?
Yeah, the music's about. Me is like loving all music. I love music from different languages, different genres, cultures, and stuff like that. So, I wasn't really familiar with like the Thai music beforehand. So going in there and really hearing it from like the locals was kind of like, oh, okay, now I'm being introduced to this. Yeah.
I mean, it's a frequency, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
You know, you're gonna feel it and you ain't gonna feel it, and you felt it.
Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely. Would you live there?
Probably not.
Yeah.
I genuinely think I probably wouldn't live outside of LA.
Yeah.
Now that could change, but as of right now, I don't see myself living anywhere else. But hoping the goal is to be, you know, financially well off, where I'm like, you know what, I'm gonna go stay 6 months in Italy. I'm gonna go stay 6 months in Australia. Like, you know, that's the goal. But like permanently live, I think my heart's here.
100%. Yeah. And so going into USC, man.
Yeah.
So you're kind of you're a different breed, USC, man. Did you experience any any kind of kickback of being like maybe the odd, not the odd man out. I mean, you're there, bro,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah.
You're there. You're there. They're like everybody else, man. And you're there even on a better. Well, there's people that have families that pay them, but you're there. You know what I mean? Like debt free.
Yeah.
Right. So you can like you have no stress really. It's all you got to do is just pass your classes, man.
Right.
That's all you got to do. You don't got to worry about bills and this and that. You got everything taken care of. I mean, you're there really on an absolutely gift from God. I mean, even though you put yourself in a position for that. You know what I mean? But everybody says, I like to say that we are all God in a sense. You know what I mean? We have a choice to do right or wrong, make a left or a right, whatever the fuck. But anyways, did you get any? Did you feel like a different person there, the odd man out? I mean, get any pushback from being different, for being from the hood?
Yeah, no, definitely. I remember like literally first day orientation. Like it wasn't even school; it was orientation. They invite you about like a month before. To come visit the campus. They kind of give you a rundown of like, all right, here's this, the whole tour and all that. As I said, like I pulled in, pro clubbed out, tee up, White Sox up, like all that stuff where that's not normal. So, obviously coming from Boyle Heights, I'm like, that's normal. That's what I'm around. And when I stepped into campus, kind of just being oblivious about it, I'm looking around like, and I'm the only one dressed like that. Like, only one. Like, everyone, like...
polo shirts
on. Everyone's
and...
polo shirt. Like, I think the most average fit at USC, and this is no shade to them, no shade to anyone who wears this, but, like, the polo, beige shorts, like, shorts that are, like, half your... like the khaki, like, really short above your knees by, like, 5 inches.
I invented that swag.
That, and then no...
The Casey hat.
You see something with that. Yeah, no socks, and then like sandals.
Yeah.
Like that's like the go-to, like the like OC, like kind of think of that demographic, like people who grew up in like the beaches down there, like that. And so as I said, like there's not really a bunch of Latinos, and if there are, they don't really come from like the hood background. They're usually like more Latinos that are kind of well more put, like from a better family, better financial position, stuff like that. So I remember I had went with at the time with my girlfriend and my mom, and we pulled in and we were like doing the check-in, and they like ignored me. They looked at me, they looked at my girl at the time, and they said, all right, so like what's your name? And even my mom was like, what the, like like, oh, it's tripping. And
your mom went with you?
Yeah, she was there. Do you remember that? Yeah, and I was just like, damn, this fool just straight up looked at me, looked down, and said, nope, next.
You thought you were the help.
Yeah, they thought like I was like their
the gardener or something.
Yeah, and then I was like,
the bag boy.
that just threw me off. I was just like, oh hell no, what? And then I was like, nah, it's for me. And he was like, oh, okay, my fault. Oh yeah, what's your name?
It's your fault.
Your name? Wait,
Racist.
spelled this way? And I'm like, yeah. What's your ID number? It's right here and all that. Everyone else, it was like, all right, here you go. Like, I'm like, all right, whatever. I ain't even tripping. And then I got to see my roommates, and I love my roommates. Shout out my roommates. But like at that time, like it was super funny to see them, because it was like, I don't know how we're gonna live together. Like we come from two different like backgrounds. Like my roommate at the time.
So it's okay. Well, you got to break this down for us guys.
Okay, yeah, you're good.
You know what I mean? So I'm gonna. So you everybody's housed there? Is everybody housed there? Or you're housed there because you got the full ride?
Yes, there you go. So,
okay. And so you get automatic housing on campus.
Yeah. And if you're on scholarship, so there's like dorm tiers, I guess you could say. Yeah. The lower dorms are like the dorms that are a little bit more cheaper, but they have like, they share restrooms with like the whole floor. No AC, stuff like that. And then the higher you go is like private room, private restroom, own AC, like all that stuff. And
so where you at?
When you get a full ride, you're at the top. So I got like it's like it's
with
called,
the athletes.
Yeah. Wait,
free great
there's a lot of athletes there. Stuff like that.
Yeah.
So at the Village, I know you had mentioned like the Village earlier. So those big buildings? Yeah. That's where I lived.
Bottled water.
Yeah.
Down there they gotta drink out of water.
No, they don't do bottled.
Down there they gotta do sink water.
No, they do can now, like the Liquid Death. That's all they have.
Damn.
You know what I'm talking about? Like the can.
Liquid Death.
Yeah. So I was like, what the hell is
that shit good water?
Yeah, it tastes like water. It's pretty good. It's pretty good. As long as it's not
special
Arrowhead.
About it? I mean, it's in a can. I don't know.
It's just branded
it's
different.
cool. Yeah, it's just branded. Yeah, but yeah, I grew up there. Lived there.
Yeah.
Like in the McCarthy dorm, which is like everyone who lives there has to be on scholarship.
Hot towels,
and
wet towels, hot wet towels.
Like
Butlers.
all luxury and stuff like that. Not I wish, but nah.
The toilets that you
they did clean
squirt
for
the
us.
water
They
in your
actually
ass
did clean
or
for
something.
The bidet.
But
hit it again, Drew.
Yeah, so I mean, it was
30-minute shits. No,
Yeah,
go ahead. I'm
no,
sorry, bro.
But no, you're good. And then my roommate, he was from Minnesota,
All right.
and he's Chinese.
So what the
and-
fuck, bro? Minnesota and Chinese?
Yeah, he's amazing. I love him. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, shout out him. And but I just laughed at first because I was like, damn, like we are so different. I don't know how it's gonna work. Like, how do I explain to him like? Yeah, because he was like, I know, like over text, he was like, yeah, you gotta show me around LA. And I'm like, damn, do I take him, like,
Just
shit.
taking you to
I'm gonna
Cape
be
Town.
like, yeah, like, where do I take you? Like, you know, I'm gonna be driving around. I can't tell you much. All I could be like, yeah, so that's over there. That's
a liquor store right there.
No, I was like,
Take him to the hood.
I take to the hood, show him all the different
swap
hoods.
meet.
Like, yeah, I was like thinking about. I
Oh
was
shit,
like,
that's my mom right there on the bike.
go to the Raspado man and stuff like that. I'm like, yo. And it was just super funny. I was like, I don't know how I'm gonna be like, yeah, so we in Harpy's area right now, but if you go down that block, that, you know, like I didn't know how to start,
Just kidding.
you know. And,
She would never be on a bike.
no, she would.
Electric scooter.
She's an electric scooter. Yeah.
E-bike.
E-bike.
But yeah, like that, and I mean, like when it was going to class and stuff like that, and like getting introduced. I mean, I'm around a bunch of like white and Asian, you know, and you do have your, as I said, fair share of like Latino and Black students, but not crazy amount, or like from my background. And so it's kind of funny. Like I'm just like sitting in class, I'm surrounded by a bunch of like, and there's no judgment to them, but like typical white, like that you will see in the TV shows, like
Suburban
frat
dudes.
boys, suburban dudes, you know.
Does that make you
the
step up your game
Kyles,
though? Does that make you like
No,
feel
I'm a-
like representing for your people?
Yes and no.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, like yes and no. Like it is a good feeling of like, yeah, like I'm here and I'm repping, like, you know, to show that like people from my background
Yeah,
can
we
really
can
go
do
into
it
this.
too.
Exactly,
Yeah,
but it's
we're
also
here.
like kind of like, the intimidating is not the word, because it's not like I'm intimidated by y'all, but it's
Yeah.
more of like you feel me? There's 100 different Connors.
Yeah.
And 100 different, you know, I don't know what's a white
Brads.
girl name, like Brads and stuff like
Yeah.
that, you know. And then
Jennifer's.
there's one of me.
Yeah.
Hey.
So it's just like, oh, like, you know, and they're talking about like,
Do you embrace them, or are you? Do they embrace you, or are you embracing them?
it's tough. I think it's progressed over, you know, my time. Like, you know, at first, I'm not gonna lie, I think it was more me.
You were
That
standoffish?
yeah, I think it was more me. You know,
Yeah.
that time I wouldn't have admitted that. Now I can admit that.
Were
like,
you very reserved?
Yeah, in my head, it's like, you know, I guess it comes with like the pride, where I was thinking like,
Well, I'm from
we
the
got,
streets,
yeah,
homie.
we from the streets. You know, like we
Yeah.
got nothing to relate to. Like you don't know where I come. Like, you know, like,
Yeah.
you know, keep
Did
the
you ever
distance,
feel
right?
like people were there looking down on you? Like, hey, this like a hood dude or something like that?
I think maybe, but honestly, like I think it was more mental. I
Yeah.
think it was more of me telling myself that, like me, like, oh yeah, they're looking at me, yeah, they don't mess with me, or like, oh, they think I'm from this, all that. And I'm pretty sure, like, honestly, like half the time it was just them, like, oh shit, cool.
What's up,
Yeah.
bro?
Yeah, and it's just
Cool.
like, you know, but I think that's just kind of where we come from. We always think like that. You feel me? Like, how many times do you guys walk the street, you see someone, and you're like, oh, like, where he from? You know, stuff like that. And you go talk to the dude, and he's like, from like, oh yeah, like I was born and raised in like Indonesia. You know, like had nothing to do, but you
I'm
saw
from
him and you
Denver,
think
Colorado,
like,
bro. What
yeah,
you mean?
yeah, like I don't even, what the heck? Like this tattoo's from my mom. Like, you know, like.
So you never had to experience it like if you go to a zoo, bro, and you're walking by the gorilla cages, everyone turns around and they're looking at the gorillas and they're just like taking pictures and shit like that, dog, and be like, oh, that's a gorilla. You know what I mean? They didn't do that to you when they saw you on campus, bro?
No, not really.
Okay.
Honestly.
Like everyone just stop and start taking selfies with you in the background.
Yeah,
I don't know.
but the thing is
We
too
got
though.
one.
So the thing is about that though,
Sorry about
which
that, that's
takes me
stupid.
back of like, okay, maybe there were some instances where they did look at me differently, because I never had gotten a white person to really like or an Asian person come up to me and like say something or ask me like, oh, like why do you act like that, or why do you wear like that, or something like that. But I did get Latinos to do that. Like I remember I brought in one day a blood in blood out shirt.
Yeah.
And like one of the homies, you know, cool homie, came up to me. He's like, hey, you know the movie? And I was like, yeah, it was shot where I'm from, like Boyle Heights, East LA area. He's like, bro, I love that movie. You from that area, bro? Oh, you hood as hell, huh? And I was like,
You
hey,
hood as hell.
I'm like, I don't know how to feel. I don't know how to feel. Like, okay,
Like, yeah, bro, you being sarcastic, homie?
Yeah,
Or
yeah, I'm like, exactly.
You don't
I'm
know how to
like,
take it,
okay.
bro.
I'm
You
like-
talking shit, bro? Or what? You know?
Yeah, but you know, I get it. It's all love to them. They just kind of see like, oh, we never been exposed to this. You know, I think I had to like really understand that. I remember there was this Instances where I did have people ask me respectfully, because it did happen like once or twice where like white or Asian people have asked me, but like respectfully. There was this one girl that she had asked me. She's like from South Korea, knows nothing about hood culture, LA gang culture, nothing. She had asked me, Ivan, I have a question. Like, you know, like you kind of, you know, I know everyone has a different accent for me because I'm from South Korea. So to me, everyone has an accent.
Yeah.
But your accent is kind of different from, you know, the typical people from USC. Like, where are you from? Like, why? You know, I just want to learn.
Yeah.
And I was kind of like, oh, okay. Like, yeah. And I
It's a good
explained
way
to her,
to
like,
approach
yeah.
it.
And she was like very respectful, you know, stuff like that.
Yeah.
There was
She's
a homie.
like naturally curious.
Yeah, and there was a homie that was there mid-conversation.
And you probably too have a lot of things in common too.
Yeah, exactly. And then there was a homie there. Like he's all homie, and at that time he was the homie, so it didn't strike me the wrong way. But I just find it funny, but I had told him, you can do that with me because we cool.
Yeah.
But like to other people, they will take it the wrong way.
Yeah.
But mid conversation, I was talking about that. He was like, all right, let me translate, because I was like giving her an actual explanation. He's like, let me translate. He comes from the hood, so he has a hood accent.
You were giving the proper translation.
Yeah, and this guy, he's like a white dude from Ohio.
Politically correct, yeah.
Yeah, he's like a white dude from Ohio, like all that. And I was like, nah, it's cool. Tell that to anyone else though, they gonna take it some way, you know, just be careful. Stuff like that. But I think, yeah, as I said, like it was more mental where I just kept on thinking and I kept on pushing them off, like in terms of like, you know, like.
Did you ever experience anything like, say in the cafeteria, bro, they smell a fart and they look at the one Mexican that's in the fart in the cafeteria?
I'm trying to think. I don't really think. I don't know. I don't think so. I think the most common occurrence is
dumb question.
the most
All right,
common
let's move on.
the most common occurrence of like anything like that would be like when people are like talking about a certain topic. Like for example, like I'll give you a perfect example. I think it was like my second week at USC. There was a kid there who his dad owned like a huge stake of Maserati.
Nice.
Like 20-30%.
Yeah.
This guy was set.
Everybody's trying to be his friend.
And yeah, they were just all talking like, oh, like, what does your dad do?
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, brother, like, okay, don't get to me. And they're all talking, oh yeah, my dad works at Goldman Sachs. Oh yeah, my brother, my dad owns a half of Maserati. Oh, my brother's a UFC fighter, like stuff like, and all this stuff like that. And they're like, oh yeah, how about you? I'm just there like, he does sales. I ain't gonna say what type of sales. He's in business. He's a businessman. I ain't gonna say transport. Yeah, he does transportation across different countries and stuff like that. You know, but like stuff like that.
People are naturally curious. Like, what do your parents do?
Yeah,
like, how did you get here? You know?
Yeah, and like people would be like, just so I think that's the most thing where like, and then there were some cases where I was honest because at that time I was just kind of like, I think growing up I was like really not ashamed, but like. I never told anyone my story, like even in high school. Like a lot of people, like my good friends from high school, a lot of them, like if they didn't grow up in like the projects where I grew up at, they didn't know where I was from.
Yeah.
And then when I got into college and I kind of started, was like, you know, sharing posts and like sharing more of my story, like they kind of realized like, damn, we didn't know you like grew up like this. And I was like, yeah, because I never like really talked about it. I didn't like talk about it. And then I think when it came to college, I was like more open about it.
Yeah.
And so sometimes I would answer and you would tell the switch.
Yeah.
You know?
I think it's a good place to be honest. Because you're already there, bro.
Yeah, like I got nothing to hide for. Like
just to rub it in their face a little bit more. We ain't the same, homie.
Yeah, I took it as like my story got me here, so why am I still ashamed of it?
Exactly.
You know,
brother.
and so I just became open.
What made you, bro?
Yeah,
you know
exactly.
what I mean? Your mom's fuck ups, your pops' fuck ups, your grandma's just relentlessness.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it all, bro. The good and bad was all put you where you're at now.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? You know, and like you said previously, if your mom or your pops were in your world, then maybe you wouldn't be in USC right now.
Right.
So maybe they did you a favor ultimately. You know, for reals.
Yeah, I
know what I mean.
When I had gotten in, I
had
no
disrespect to mom or pops, you know what I mean. But sometimes it be like that.
Yeah. I know. Like when I had gotten in, I had sent her like a message that maybe was a little hurtful, but it was just me being honest. And one of the questions to USC was like, who's your biggest role model? And I answered honestly, and I had said like my mom and dad are my biggest role models, because even though they probably didn't show, like maybe not in a positive way, but they showed me like who I didn't want to be. And that's exactly what I wrote. Like my parents weren't there for me, and I explained like this is what they did, this is what I grew up with. But learning from their mistakes got me to where I'm at. So in reality, they are my biggest role models, because they're like the people who I learned my mistakes from. They're the like, you know, the way I think of it is like role models are the people you learn the most from, who you get inspired by the most. And in their case, it was like, how can I be better? You know? And so, yeah, I sent her that message, was maybe a little hurtful. Sorry about that, but it was the honest truth. So
Sometimes the truth hurts, but sometimes it's better to be spoken and off your chest.
Yeah,
you know what I
yeah.
mean? Because it makes helps you be a little lighter. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, and sometimes we got to take that as parents. You know, we got to take the hurtful truth, which we already know it. You know.
Yeah.
Explain this to me, and you probably know better than anyone else, bro. How come people, and I don't want to say white people, so I don't want to pin. I want to say well-off people do not finish all their food on their plate.
Yeah.
Have you seen that, or is it just me that notices that?
Yeah, like that's one of them. It's a bunch of other stuff. Like
They don't finish their food, all their food off the plate.
They don't finish all their food all the way. They leave it there. I've seen instances where like in the dining hall, like you have to go pick up your plate and put it into like it's like a tray where they go take it to wash or whatever. Like they'll not finish it, leave it there and walk out. Like leave their plate there. Or I think the thing that tripped me out the most, that still trips me out sometimes when I see it, is like at the village, right? Let's say they're chilling at a bench and they're like, oh, we're gonna grab some food. They'll leave their backpack there and go get food and leave it for like an hour. I know friends that like go to the library, leave their backpack in the library to save their seat, go do something for like 3-4 hours. I'm not exaggerating. Like, you know, they'll go watch a Dodger game and come back. And I'm like, how the hell are you guys comfortable leaving your whole backpack there with your $1,000 mic, MacBook, and like all that stuff? Like me, everywhere I go, like my backpack has to be on me. And like, so like little stuff like that where it's just kind of like, I don't know. I just kind of see it's like everyone just comes from different environments. And so like in their environment, it's like, they're so, you know, like in the food situation, like, you know, they're well off, they're more privileged, they have more resources to everything. So maybe they didn't just grow up with like the value of like really taking advantage of everything.
Yeah, like you ain't gonna leave this table until you eat all your food.
Yeah. And you know,
No,
us, we didn't grow with that, you know. So then it was us of like, if this is given to you, it's because someone sacrificed a lot. Finish it, you know, be grateful for them. It's just a different environment of, you know, oh, there's plenty. If you don't want it, that's cool, you know. And I just kind of see as that, as I said, like when I first started there, it was like a very like more like pessimistic type of view of like me just like, nah, I can relate to you, I can be cool with you, or like judging them off of that stuff, like, you know, like, oh, you guys have the luxury to do this, like, you know, like you guys have it easy and like that mindset. But like I kind of realized like that was eating at me. Yeah, exactly. Because imagine every single day, I'm going to class every single day, I'm living around these guys.
You can be the sour apple of the bunch.
Yeah, and I would realize like everyone's having fun except me. Like everyone would be vibing, you know, going on to all these things, and I'm there because in my head I'm thinking like, man, these squares, man. Like, you know, like that was like dead ass my mind. Yeah. And it took me a while until like my sophomore year where I realized, why am I tripping? Like, no one in this room is tripping except me, you know? And, you know, it goes back to like, well, do I blame myself for that? Because, you know, we grew up in different things. Like, no, it's not something that, you know, like I understand the circumstances, but I also like, at what point does it become like, get over it?
Yeah.
Like, you know?
Get over yourself.
Yeah, like, you know, like. Yeah. And I kind of got to that point where like, you know what, I'm gonna stop tripping. And once I kind of realized that, and I started like actually engaging with like, you know, these typical like, you know, white or Asian demographic where, you know, they come from a privileged background, and even like Latinos in general, like the privileged Latinos, the privileged Black people, like stuff like that, they're all to me they're all the same category. I don't look at it race. I'm like looking at like class, you know, because there's white people that I was like, you know, my freshman year that grew up in poverty. They're like, oh, I met this one dude that he's like, oh yeah, like I grew up in Compton. White dude, but like he grew up in Compton, you know, when he was like, you know, until like 6, and then moved to Oregon or something like that, you know, where it's like, oh, okay, like even though you're white, like you understand like some struggle, or like, you know. And so I kind of see it as like, you know, more of like a class thing. And once I started kind of getting over that mindset, found myself making more friends with them and like feeling more comfortable, like, you know, not tripping about it and not being in my head. And that's when I made like all these connections and networks and stuff like that. And, you know, thinking back, like I wish I could have just said like, just get over it from the jump. But I mean, I understand, you know, it's not an easy transition.
But at least it only took you a year, right?
Yeah, around there. Yeah.
It's not like you held on to that. You know what I mean? You were smart enough to finally like check yourself and, you know what I mean, check your ego a little bit.
Yeah.
You know, which we all have.
Yeah.
You know, you said you went to Cuba as well, and is that through that program?
Yeah.
Tell me about Cuba, bro.
Oh my gosh, I love Cuba.
Like, bro, we don't, especially like, bro, I'm old as shit, bro. Like, I'm getting over this shit. You know what I mean? And I haven't been to places like that, man. And I really want to do that. I feel like in my 50s, I'm gonna put myself in a very nice financial place.
Yeah.
Where all my 50s, bro, I'm going to Cuba. I'm going to fucking what was that other place? Thailand. Yeah, I want to go to
yeah.
Egypt, bro. You know what I mean? I want to go to Ethiopia.
Lucky said I'm about to explore.
Bro,
I mean,
all my
It's the
50s,
best.
bro, I'm out the door, bro. By then, the podcast will be fucking bop, you know what I mean? Really good. Everything else will be good, you know what I mean?
Well, you can technically go and write that all off for your business as work if you shoot videos.
Yeah, and obviously that's what a lot of content, right? Great content. That'd be amazing content.
Yeah.
Can you imagine all of us and on fucking some camels and shit? You know what I mean? You know?
I just saw
Drunk on top of a
Look, I'm
camel.
walking in the front.
Humps on humps.
Yeah, start
Look,
asking.
I'm walking in front of the camel.
That camel
That'd be
happy
hard.
little
That'd be
motherfucker. huh?
hard. That'd be fun. Yeah, that'd be hard.
Camel fucking putting his head back, getting some of that leche real quick.
What stocks on each?
Some of that horchata.
Yeah, that's funny.
No, I want to do all that shit, dog.
yeah,
You know what I mean,
you
but
should,
you've been able to experience that at such a young
Yeah.
age. You know what I mean? I've been able to experience bus rides to different penitentiaries and just some stupid ass shit, bro, that I wasted a lot of my life with. You know. And so I love hearing these stories, brother. So you went to Cuba. Tell me about Cuba, man.
Yeah, so I went to Cuba under that same program, and you're there for like 2 weeks to do the same thing. Cuba at that time, and still I kind of at this time, as it was a unique situation where after the embargo and all the politics stuff, was barely investing into a private sector over there in Cuba because of communism and everything. You can't own property nor be like a rightful CEO of a business, like
That's
all that
crazy.
politics.
Yeah.
And so during that time, they were barely implementing new policies of a potential future of a private sector, right? And so we were entering at that time and really meeting with people that are trying to start their business out in Cuba and like understanding like, okay, how can the U.S., a country that doesn't have the best relations with Cuba, conduct business? So yeah, as I said, like these types of travels and these projects, so like these 2 week long, days where we go to these different countries and stuff like that. It's yes, the business side, but also like the political side, because you're doing business with different countries, different laws, different, history and stuff like that. How can you make that work for business? And how do you get over grudges and past bad experiences? And so, yeah, I mean, Cuba's amazing. I love it. Probably the most beautiful country I've been to. And I think it has to do a lot with Cuba not really having like an industrial, complex, tech sector, like stuff like that,
Yeah,
where it really brings pollutants into the air and into the environment, where it feels like
It's all natural.
Like
Yeah.
air's perfectly clean. All the animals seem to be happy. Like all the
Titties hanging low.
like,
Yeah,
like it's
all
just
natural,
vibes,
right?
all natural.
Yeah.
And so like all that stuff where visually it's super beautiful.
Yeah.
And then you kind of really hit the city and the culture and the people, and you realize like, man, I'm so lucky to be from LA. Like despite like all my problems and all the stuff I went through, like these people genuinely like, well, a majority of them don't have phones, right? Because I think Wi-Fi and phones was barely introduced to Cuba a few years ago. I don't remember the exact year, but like less than 10 years, less than probably 5 years maybe, like within like that 5-year range. So
Damn.
before that, they never had the ability to like search up like what's going on in the world or what's going on with this and stuff like that. So a lot of people don't know like.
Is that got to do with the communism or?
Yeah, and all that stuff, and the embargo too. With like there wasn't imports or exports out of Cuba, so they couldn't import phones, like stuff like that, and they don't have the assets enough to produce phones and stuff like that. So and Wi-Fi and
They're walking around talking on bananas and shit.
like everything's like face to face, person to person, and so
check out my new iPhone. They're like, "Fool, that's a banana, motherfucker."
yeah, and so it's
Sorry
like
about that,
I think their most profitable business over there is the alcohol sector with rum.
So they got
like,
some good
yeah.
Cuban
So
rum.
if you want to make money in Cuba, like you just have to go into the rum and alcohol and stuff like that. So which also tells you a lot. Like, what does that tell you about our country?
Yeah.
The fact that a substance has to be your number one sector. Like there's a bunch of stuff that Cuba has to resolve, and it's not their fault. Like considering the history and stuff like that. And so right now we went there to really evaluate like where does Cuba go from here, and does U.S. play a part? And if it does, how? And if it doesn't, why? So that was the whole point of it. And so we got to see, like, the tourist side, like the Havana side, but also like the more like rural areas like Veradero and Trinidad and stuff like that, where like there's no tourism there. Like we went on a bus straight into there, and they don't got like the road. There's no roads. It's all rocks. So like the whole bus ride is literally like just like jumping up and down, terrible. But that's where we really got to engage with the people. And we live like at the casitas, like the I forgot what the actual word is, but like when people rent out the room in their house, whatever. And like, so we're living in Cuban homes, like, not hotels, in the homes. And you know, I remember like I had gotten sick over there. I called my grandma like, yeah, like I'm sick, you know, just checking up. I was calling her every day. She's like, oh, why don't you why don't you go get medicine? I'm like, Ma, they don't have medicine here.
Yeah.
Oh, well, why don't you go make tea? I asked the lady, and she says like to get tea, you have to go to the forest and get the actual tea.
Yeah.
I don't know where the forest is. I'm not
climb a
from here.
tree,
Yeah,
yeah.
you got to go climb a tree, cut it, and make it yourself. And I was like, oh, she was like, oh, they don't have like honey or like salt. I was like, they don't have nothing, you know, which sucks, you know, in that part of the country. And so really kind of seeing that kind of like gave me more insight of like, I got to be more grateful for the things I have, even the little things like a water bottle that everyone just kind of ignores. Like, you know,
they throw it away half full.
Exactly. A Cuban person will look at this, and if they know what this is, they would be like, they would value it a lot. And if they don't know, they're just going to be like, wait, what is this? How is water in a bottle? In certain parts of Cuba, like Trinidad, where they don't have like access to anything. If you're in Havana, because it's a big city, they have like more access to stuff, you know.
So what
like,
if I popped up to Cuba, bro, and I had a trench coat and I opened it up, bro, and I had a bunch of water bottles in that bitch, bro? Would I be the man or what?
You would be the man. People would be like, what the heck is this guy doing? If you go to like somewhere like Trinidad and Veradero, you know, and stuff like that. Not Veradero, more Trinidad.
Okay.
And then Cienfuegos was like their I believe, I don't remember the history, but like a lot of the buildings are like very historic Spanish, because it was like where the Spanish came and really made a lot of the architecture, so it's beautiful, like, you know, and like there too, you know, it's more developed like Havana, but like still a lot of people don't understand like poverty. But I noticed a common trend where like a lot of them are still happy, because they're ignorant that they don't know the rest.
They don't know
of the
what
world.
they're missing.
They don't know what they're missing.
Yeah.
And usually, like, I think I saw more sadness / homelessness / all that stuff in the big cities like Havana compared to like Trinidad. Because, and you know, this is an assumption, but like the Havana people have access to seeing all these things. So they have access to knowing, damn, like I don't have this and that, because they can see it online. People in Trinidad, they don't have access to this.
But did you have your phone on you?
Yeah.
Is there cell service out there?
Barely.
Yeah.
Like barely. You have to go certain areas where you get it for like a phone call for 3 minutes, and that, yeah. The hotels, it was pretty good. The hotels were pretty good. Other than that, you know, like, you know, you'd be lucky.
What are the good things about that? Okay, they don't have salt, they don't have honey. You gotta talk to the monkey on the corner over there to get some tea leaves.
Depends where you're at. Trinidad, yeah. Havana, you have access to that stuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, you have access to that.
Yeah, in
stuff.
Havana,
Okay.
yeah.
But what are the obviously there's always going to be pros and cons anywhere you're going to go. There's going to be pros and cons in coming into this studio right now. You know what I mean? But what are the pros? You talked about some of the cons.
Yeah,
what are the pros there, bro? Where you're just like, you know what, this is dope as fuck. This is the shit. Homie.
Yeah.
Besides the landscape.
In terms of,
I mean, people. If
three.
you're ignorant to shit, bro, you could be potentially living a great life,
Yeah,
bro.
yeah,
if you don't
yeah,
know what you're missing.
Yeah, I'll give you three. I'll give you like a culture one, a people one, and then a business one. I think business, since they don't have an established private sector, but are getting to that point where they're gonna really have a well-established private sector, that's so much access to get into a market.
Okay, and so explain to some of these guys when you're talking about a private sector.
Yeah, so here in the U.S. we have like, you know, opportunity to start an own business, you know, something private that you own, that you have full control over. Over there you can't, because it's very regulated by the government.
Communism.
So you can't say like you can't be like, I'm gonna start a hood stocks.
Yeah.
You know, the government's gonna be like, wait, whoa. We ain't
doing that.
We ain't doing that.
Yeah.
All this, you know, we need a percentage of this. We if we approve, you know, they're gonna be very on you. Here you have the liberty of, you do your forms, you file, and you wait, and then get approved, and boom, you start a business. Over there, without a private sector, you don't have the ability to have a private owned property to you. So with Cuba going on to the route of like really being able to actually call something officially yours, there's just so much opportunity for, you know, market gain. But I would just hope it actually goes to the community of Cuba and not like
to the government.
Like a government or like a rich, like I wouldn't want to go in there and be like oh yeah, and like let me just start up a business and boom and stuff like that, because it's not right. I feel like that type of stuff should go to the people that are from there.
Go to the people.
So I hope it gets regulated and guided well to that point.
Okay, so back to the good things, the pros.
Yeah, well, that's a pro. And then, like, you know, the ability that people can actually eventually get to that, you know, and stuff.
But the pros that were there while you were there, you talked about the cons.
While I was there. Yeah.
People, while you were there, what are people thriving and like, what is good there, bro? Is the women beautiful? I mean, like,
people are full of life. Like, everyone there, everyone's dancing in the streets. The music, you got people like playing in the corners, like their drums. You know, they don't even need a guitar. They just got drums and stuff like that. They don't need keys. They don't need piano. Obviously, few of them did have pianos and keys, but they're just some with like just a metal box. I mean, a wood box, You get 3-4 people on it, and then they're making music and they're all singing. And you just have people like there's no shame over there. You know, out here, people won't like. There might be some people, but like if someone plays right now in the corner, like the chances of someone like stopping there and like dancing to the music, it's kind of low. You know,
100%.
Yeah, over there it's like everyone's like vibing. Like people come to you like, hey, let's dance, boom, like strangers. You know, like stuff like that. So I like seeing that life and the way that people thrive there and like aren't embarrassed. That I feel like maybe some of our culture like lacks. You know, a lot of people are very worried about like what people think of them. Like over there, they're just like, we should gonna live. Like why do I care what you what you think about me? I'm just dancing. And then
less self-conscious.
Yeah. And I think the people are very well. Cuba's actually ranked. A lot of people believe that Cuba isn't like a safe country because they think like, oh, communism, all that. It's like ranked like one of the safest countries in the world.
And why is it so safe?
Because
they got no bullets.
The history. Yeah, they don't got a bunch of stuff like that. Like
nobody owns a gun.
Access to guns, access to bullets,
no
access
paper.
to that, stuff like that. Where it's like it makes crime go down, but also, with their past history, the punishment for crime has been very extreme, to the point where it kind of like made generations like think like, oh, we should just stay off of that.
Yeah.
So now you have a whole generation where they think like, yeah, no, we cannot commit a crime. Compared to over here, some people are like, I'll get busted for 6 months, I'll get out in a year, that's fine.
Yeah.
Whatever, over there it's like, oh, if I do this, I'm done, I'm cooked. So
there's no county lid, there's fucking probation. I'll get out on probation,
exactly.
Like you said.
They won't get on that, you can't, a lawyer, like, over here you'd be like, I get a good lawyer, I could get out. Over there it's like, nah, you think you're gonna get a lawyer? Like, nah. So I think a lot of that has really played a role of like people like, we're good. We'll keep the peace. We're good. So with that, you really get people that are like very trusting out there from what I saw, and like people that are really engaging with each other. People aren't scared to like, communicate with one another, aren't like, on the fence about everything. So I think feeling that going as a tourist, you kind of really brought into that of like, oh wait, why are they so trusting? And then, it just makes, like a beautiful like community / bond thing. So.
Absolutely, community. What you said something earlier, bro. Why did in regards to maybe the U.S. comes in and gets involved and helps them change things, something on the lines of that maybe not exactly what came out your mouth. I might have interpreted it wrong. But why does it take the U.S. to come to some of these countries, bro? Why does it take the U.S. to go to some of these countries and make change? Why can't they make change within their country or within their neighbors? Collaborate and make a good change.
Well, in terms of like Cuba, for this example, Cuba, if you look at Cuba's history.
Sorry about those headphones too.
Oh no, you're good. You're good. You're good. In
Yeah.
terms of like Cuba's history, it's like when you really, and every country has a different reasoning, but like for Cuba, with like their whole influence on like communism and like the influence by like the Communist Party from like Russia and China, and like that how that brought conflict between Cuba and the U.S., with the U.S. not really trusting Cuba because of their relations with Russia. And despite all that history, the U.S. made a decision of like we gotta look at Cuba, unfortunately, as a potential enemy, and so it isolated Cuba. The U.S. is like, we're not going to have trades with you. We're not going to affiliate with you, anything like that. So with the Cuba being on our side of the world, on the western side, but only having relations on the eastern side, it makes it super hard. If canals are closed, if there's war going on, the waterways and canals are cut off. So if Cuba needs something from Russia or China, they're like, hey, sorry, we can't help you right now. Like, we're dealing with stuff, So that's why a lot of, like, the Western world, they rely on the U.S. a lot. Same thing with the other side with China. A lot of the countries around China really rely on China in terms of, like, trades and getting products and raw materials. The U.S. is that for this side of the world. So for a country that's being seen as opposition from the U.S. and the only close, like, relations they have are on the other side of the world, but because of, factors that they can't control, that gets cut off. Now they're just kind of stuck in the middle of like, damn, they don't trust us. We can't trust them, for whatever reason, because we're getting told by these other countries that they're the enemy. They're looking at us as the enemy, and our friends are all the way over there.
Yeah.
So
How old are you again, bro?
21.
21, man. Come on, man, bro. Come on now,
Big
man.
dog conversation.
You broke it down in the most elementary way for me to understand this shit, dog. I'm like, okay,
So
I'm over here taking notes and
said,
shit,
"I got
dog.
this."
Like, bro, that was the best. Thank you so much for that,
I kind
brother.
of see it as like, and it happens a lot, and it's happened every time I've gone to ever since I gone to USC, where I kind of relate everything to like the hood. Like everything is kind of like a big correlation like that. Pretty sure if you really think about what I just said right now, you're like, wait, that kind of applies to like,
Oh yeah.
like hood, like oh my gosh, like if you're from this hood and your friends are from this hood and you're surrounded by a bunch of enemies, like it makes it hard to do.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so I kind of see it as like that. And how many people have like that come from hoods have assessed that and like been in talks of like peace treaties or like or like strategies of like, okay, how do I keep my people safe, all this stuff. Like imagine what they could do. They've already been doing that, but they don't understand that they could do it on an actual like global impact, right?
I see
or like in different careers.
Bro, I see 100% politics in your future, bro.
Yeah,
I think
so-
you'd be a good
well,
politician.
that's what I want to do.
Politics, bro.
Well, my mom doesn't know this, but at 25, I already made it a goal. I want to go back to USC to study IR and law. So I'll be
bro.
trying to go back for my JD, and I want to be an ambassador for like different countries and bring relations.
Bro, come on, dog. You got my vote, homie. I'm gonna vote twice. One with my ID and a fake ID, dog. You know what I mean? Shit, bro.
Yeah, the way I see
we
it
need
is
homie
like,
in the office right here, dog.
in politics, you got a lot of politicians that don't come from backgrounds that are like non-traditional. You get a lot of politicians that come from traditional backgrounds, whether their parents were in politics or connections, or they come from a privileged background.
Well, your parents are probably a little bit involved in politics too in the background. I mean, you know.
Yeah, I meant
I mean, I'm not trying to put any. I mean, like we all deal with politics in the streets, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
No, I meant like governments and stuff like that.
I know what you mean,
Governments,
bro. But I'm saying you do have a background though with your family, bro.
No,
You know what I mean?
yeah. And but like in terms of like IR and building relationships with different countries and stuff like that,
Yeah.
it's like I don't know. This is the way I see it. And I'll give like a quick, simple example. It's like if I was the president, and I send someone that's from Iowa who's very qualified, very has an amazing resume. He's a Caucasian man, knows what he's doing, and I send him to the Middle East and say build relations. Even though he's very qualified, if I'm like a country in the Middle East and they bring me a white person to come talk, I'm gonna be like, this man don't even know about my country and he wants to give me advice on how to fix my country.
Yeah.
Nah. But how would things be different if they were to find someone that's Middle Eastern?
Yes.
That knows the background, that knows the culture to like really build relations. And I'm not saying they don't already do that, because they have done that in the past. I'm not trying to say they haven't, but it hasn't been effective. So why? What can we do differently? And I know it goes bigger than what I know. They have more information, and I'm very fine with that. But I think we should really address that issue more of like when we're doing relations with different countries, we should be sending people that actually
look like
know,
them.
that look like them, that they could trust, instead
Yeah.
of sending someone that have no relations.
100%, bro.
So that's kind of what I want to do with like, okay, coming from my background, I would hope that I could go to like a country like Mexico or Nicaragua and stuff like that, where like they need help and stuff like that, and they're like, oh wait, a Latino that actually comes from the hood, like stuff like that, knows what he's doing. Like okay, I feel like it would be an easier conversation than talking to a Caucasian man that they have no correlation to.
Absolutely.
So that's kind of like my route where I want to go into like politics and stuff.
Bro,
like
you're gonna kill it, bro. I mean, your music thing is you can do whatever you want to do, but honestly, like after some of this conversation right here, I 100% see you in politics, man. It's killing it, bro.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Making the world better, brother. We need young dudes like you, with backgrounds like yourself, humble beginnings.
Yeah.
You feel what I'm saying? In these positions of power, because I believe we will get the right outcome, bro, from someone that's been through a real struggle in their life and accomplished so much, which you've done so much in your young life, and you're going to continue to climb. What did you travel any other countries besides there?
Puerto Rico.
Puerto Rico.
Puerto Rico, yeah, it was, to really assess the country, but I feel like I kind of looked at Puerto Rico as like, we just gonna have fun. Because, I mean, that's what I feel like Puerto Rico is mainly known for. It's a U.S. territory, so like really looking at the business side of it is important, but it applies a lot under U.S. law, so it's different compared to like Thailand and Cuba, where I have to learn everything. I have to learn the laws, the business relationships, like stuff like that. Puerto Rico's kind of different with that aspect, so it's not as much to like learn or really assess of stuff I already didn't know. So I kind of saw it as like we gonna have fun and just like really just assess the and we get to know the culture and stuff like that.
Yeah, the assessments were a different level right there, huh? Yeah, as they should be. Absolutely, Puerto Rico, man. I've heard nothing but.
It's amazing.
I love Puerto Rico.
Yeah, that's a vibe.
Have you been there, Loca?
Yeah, I was there about a couple months ago. Actually.
Damn, girl, you get around.
On a crash boat.
Loca
I drove
really?
from one island to the other. I landed in crash boat. It was like north of the island, and I drove all the way down to San Juan. It was like 5-6 hours, something like that.
Yeah. Oh wow.
Is it dangerous out there though?
No, not that I saw.
No?
How was your
You know what? They
experience?
didn't have any salsa, and that
No?
kind of irritated me because I like salsa on my food. So I asked them for some salsa, and they gave me a bottle of vinegar with a chile inside.
Yeah.
And
No,
I was
get
like,
you,
"What
man.
is this?"
It's 'cause
They're
they
like,
don't-
"That's your salsa."
They don't eat chile. That's
they don't
why.
eat
Yeah, Puerto
chile.
Ricans don't
I'm
eat
like,
chile.
"You Puerto Rican? I thought Puerto Ricans, like ate chile for some reason. I just had that in my mind.
Yeah.
But no, they don't know about chile.
Honestly, a lot of Latin countries don't really eat chile. It's Mexico that just like we put chile on everything.
Yeah, we
and they were like tripping on me when I was talking to the
like,
Puerto
"Where's the
Ricans. They were
salsa?"
like, "Man, y'all just put everything on breakfast."
Vinegar and a chile.
They were like, "What's your favorite breakfast?" And I was like, "Chilaquiles, chile." "What's your favorite like lunch?" I was like, "Enchiladas, chile." They were like, "What's your favorite dinner?" And like all that. And I was like, "Damn, yeah, you're kind of right. We just eat puro chile. Like, what don't we eat with chile? Like, honestly." And they were like, "Yeah, we don't eat like that." So yeah, I ran into that problem too.
Yeah.
Like, I was like, "Damn."
But I loved it. I think
Yeah,
it was
yeah.
very beautiful.
Yeah, it's vibes.
Let's get down that dark road, bro.
Yeah.
I mean, what point in time, like, how did that transpire, bro? You caught, while you're going to USC, you catch a murder.
Yeah.
You know, what year were you in USC?
I was a sophomore. I was 19.
You were 19.
Yeah.
You were a sophomore.
Yeah, I was working over the summer as a RA, which is a residential advisor. So basically, like the dorms that I was talking about earlier. So an RA is someone who's like, kind of think of like a lead. Like they kind of make sure their floor is good. Like let's say someone's like, "Yo, I need like something in my pipe is like messed up. Like, can you come check it out?" Like I go check it out, and then I'll fill out a form. Like, yeah, we need a plumber to come fix this. Like
Kind of like a manager.
Yeah, like a manager of a floor. Yeah. So I was working as a RA, and so
And how do you get in that position? It sounds like a good position to be in.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
'Cause you're kind of like the dude. You're the dude to get at. You know what I mean? You need something, you get at the homie, right?
Yeah, there's a bunch of us. So there's like I don't know. Maybe if I had to take a guess, like 40 of us because the dorms are really big.
Is it a paying position?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they pay you. They pay for your housing. They pay for your food.
But
So-
you already got that cleared, right, through your full ride.
Yeah, but they like during the summer you have to move out.
Oh,
Go
okay.
somewhere.
And so you didn't have to move out.
So I didn't have to move out.
Okay,
No.
nice.
Yeah. So I
nice.
just did it summer.
You a permanent resident.
Huh, yeah,
Everybody
pretty-
packing their
pretty-
bags.
yeah,
And like,
pretty
we going to Paris. You know what I mean? And you're like,
yeah.
motherfucker,
I'll stay
shit.
here. Yeah.
I'm gonna be right here.
Exactly. So I was working that. So I was in the area, and then I also had my crib. So I had that crib and another crib.
What do you mean a crib?
Like I had my place. Yeah, I was living in a house with a bunch of homies.
Okay.
And stuff like that, and then I also had that place. So I was living at two different places at the same time.
Okay.
whole lounge.
Yeah, it was getting covered, so I was like, might as well have two apartments. Like, it's like, yeah,
got
you know,
options.
yeah. So I would just choose what nights I would just stay at, whatever. And so I was at the house with like all my homies and stuff like that. And I don't know, basically, I just heard a car alarm, and what's it called? Ended up going down and to investigate it, like
This is on campus or is this at your crib?
It's well, my other crib is on campus. It's hard to, because the whole USC area is like not the actual, like it's a school, and then all the surrounding area is still considered USC.
So it's like dormitories or houses.
You're not in Boyle Heights, basically, right?
Not in Boyle
Like
Heights.
the
You're over there in
hood,
South
like
Central.
Occidental.
Yeah, it's like you got the school campus where all my classes are at, and then you got the village.
Yeah.
Which is where my dorm's at, and all the dorms.
Yeah.
And then around it, you got a bunch of USC facilities
They're like the frat houses, right?
yeah, like
the
you know
frat
that you know
houses.
that street. Yeah, so I was living on that street.
So were you on a
Yeah.
frat house?
Huh? At that time, yeah, I was.
And what was your frat?
It was called Delta Tau Delta.
Delta Delta?
Yeah, Delta Tau Delta.
Delta Delta.
Yeah. I got in with some of my homies were in it.
What's the initiation to get into that?
For me, I didn't initiate because I knew them. So the thing is, I at that time I would do all the parties at USC, right? I love the business, so I would like tell people like I'll organize your party, pay me this percentage. And so like I was kind of known as like the person who would like just do all promote. I was a promoter basically. And so I wouldn't even go to the parties. I would just promote and just be like at home, and people would call me like, yo, they're not letting me in. I'm like, okay, pass the phone. Yeah, he's with me, go in. And so like, yeah, I don't know. I don't really, yeah. And so I was kind of like the guy throwing a lot of parties, right? And so I would book all the things, find the venues, find the houses, order all the restrooms, order all the alc, drop it off at this time, this date, call the person, hey, the alc's gonna come at this time, this day.
You had hookups to all these businesses, like resources? Like,
yeah, I just like...
You just need people, like, you got a discount and...
I went on Google.
No discounts, you were just Googling.
I went on Google and I started calling them up and I said, look, if I could guarantee you 12 events this school year, I'm a USC student, if I could guarantee you 12 events, what's the discount rate you would give me? If I give you 12 events, could you pay me for 9? Okay, bet. Guarantee 12? Yeah, I'll give you the dates. Give them the dates, send them everything. You send half of the deposit, so you send them 6, and then you just pay 3. So out of the 12 events, I only fully paid for 9. But then obviously with the money you get,
That's right.
Yeah, you make
profit.
money.
Yeah. So, just stuff like that.
And then, to get some business advice from homie right here,
yeah,
bro.
so I did that, and then so...
And did you learn this stuff through USC or just throughout your high school? I mean,
Chick-fil-A,
Chick-fil-A.
Shout out Chick-fil-A.
Okay, Chick-fil-A. You came from humble meanings.
Supply and demand.
Again.
Yeah.
Supply and demand, 100%.
Right back
yeah.
to Chick-fil-A.
Yeah, I think the
Okay.
event coordinating.
So you're just taking it to another level. You're applying what you've learned before.
You be a hustler, you just have it in you.
Yeah, I feel like you figured out. Like if you really want to, you'll find out. Like that's my mentality. Well, my tattoo right here, it says, if I don't, who will? I don't know if you guys can see it right there.
Yeah, that's it.
And that's just like always been my mentality. Like, man, like, I gotta do it. Like, there's no excuse. There's no I can't do it. Or
you can't
like
wait for someone else to get it done.
Exactly.
I
gotta do it. Yeah. So I
like
just figured out how to do that and run events. And then at that time I was also running like the events for the mariachi. I was at USC, so I would like do all their bookings and stuff. And so I was booking a bunch of like different things and and so this frat was like, some homies that I was in, they were like, dude, we're looking for someone like handle our bookings. I was like, I mean, yeah, I'll do it. And they're like, oh, but you got to be a part of the house. I'm like, all right, cool, whatever. And then I was really cool with like the president and the vice president. They're like, all right, bet. And then I was just known as the guy who would like book all their stuff. And so really, really cool guys. I joined a house that's all Latino. So like a lot of like that was the reason why I was like, oh, I could join this, because all the other ones are all like white. And that one's like, I remember like the homie that I knew, he's from South Central. Like, he grew up on the 40s. Got another homie that's from Lawndale. I got another homie that's from Compton. So these were all like the only group of people that I found at USC that like come from my background.
You can relate
but
with.
like their parents aren't gang affiliated. They have no relation with gang affiliation.
Yeah.
They just were raised in the hood. So I was like, oh yeah, these are my people.
You guys are definitely
like,
getting all the girls there.
Well, because it's many white girls.
Yeah,
so,
exactly. And they like hood niggas. Come on.
And so, so we were known as like the hood house. Like, people would be like, oh, that's the ghetto house. Like, that's the hood house. Like, because each house has different things. Like, oh, if you want country, you're gonna go to that one. If you want rock, you can go to that one. You guys want Mike Sherm? You guys want OGZ? All right, hit that house. And that was our house.
There you go.
And so I was living there. Car alarm, went off, and I was on my way to work. So I went down. Then I realized some dude had broken in to it's in our house. He came into our house in like our backyard, like where we had our cars parked, and he broke into the homie's the homie's car. And so I tried confronting him, like, seeing what's up. He kind of looked like he was kind of out of it. Like, he wasn't like really responsive. My first instinct was like, oh, he's probably on drugs or dealing with some mental stuff. And then when I tried confronting him, like, hey, yo, bro, it's not your car, he tried like getting aggressive with me, and like he was gonna, like, he claimed like he had a gun, and I was like, what? And then he made the action like he was gonna pull, and then I had a knife with me. So I mean, yeah, I acted, and then I tried helping him out of the car after, because I realized like, oh damn, like I took off on this dude and I didn't mean to. And then he ended up passing away, and I ended up calling the cops myself and just turned myself in. I just kind of told them like.
So you stabbed him?
Huh? Yeah.
Yeah. Where'd you stab him at?
I believe they said in the chest.
In the chest.
Yeah.
One time? 2 times?
It was multiple. Yeah.
Multiple times. Yeah. Did you go in a what do they call it, fight or flight? Flight or fight mode?
Yeah. The way I see it is like, because I know I got a lot of controversy after of like, why like a normal person would run, and I'm like, well, I'm close to the dude, Like we're closer than we are right now.
Yeah.
Because I'm like on the window, like, bro, it's not your car. Like you broken.
Yeah.
So like, where am I gonna run to?
Yeah.
And second, it's like I think kind of where we grew up at and where I grew up at. It's like if someone says they have a gun, I'm not gonna be like, let me find out.
Yeah.
You know, like it's like you trying to steal from me, you trying to steal from my people, and you say you have a gun, I'm gonna take your word for it.
Yeah.
You know, and I kind of like where I grew up at. It's like if you hesitate, you die. Like and so I think I was just raised with like a fight or flight response, and at that time it was just like a fight.
I want to share something that's a little relatable to what you're saying, and not to overshadow your story or anything like that, But I was a few years back. I was at Michoacan's Carnitas Michoacan on Broadway, bro. Bomb ass nachos. I've been going there for like 30 plus years, right, dog? I'm in the back parking lot, and two dudes walk through there and come through. There's an outside seating area, bro. You can walk out through the back door, dog. You know what I mean? One dude comes at me, the other dude flanks me, bro. You know what I mean? The dude's like from like closer, like you said, bro, closer. You know what I mean? And he pulls out a strap while he hits me up where I'm from, bro. I tell him where I'm from, and then he pulls out the strap, bro.
Yeah.
So obviously we ain't cool.
Yeah.
You feel what I'm saying? So as soon as he pulls out the strap, bro, I snatched him up, bro.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I snatched his ass up, dog. You know what I mean? And so luckily I didn't have a knife on me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because, you know what I mean? I could have potentially been in the same predicament as you, dog. You know what I mean? But I snatched his ass up fucking quick as fuck, dog. I mean, we so close.
Right.
I ain't gonna run and get shot in the back, bro.
Yeah.
Snatching this
Exactly.
I'm snatching this little motherfucker up, bro.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I fucking just got him, fool, and I bear hugging him. I'm looking at this other fool right here and shit, and this dude's in my ear and he said, let me go. We cool. I'm from so-and-so. I said, well, you pull a strap for then, fool? The fuck you pull a strap, dog? You know what I mean? And he could have easily I'm bear hugging him, bro, so he could have easily like moved his wrist up and popped me, bro. Luckily, you know what I mean? Like it was just like a fight or flight thing.
Right.
Reflex.
It was a reflex.
Yeah,
Like
exactly.
I bugged out a little bit, bro. Like I got scared, bro. You know what I mean? But that was my reaction to being scared. You feel what I'm saying? To snatching his ass up, dog.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That was my reflex. Well, your reflex was to defend yourself.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? To protect yourself. You know what I mean? You're not one of these kids that were raised with the fucking silver spoon or whatever the fuck they call it, bro. You feel what I'm saying? You've been in these fucking environments. You've seen dudes lose their fucking lives, bro. You've been in crazy predicaments, like you said, when you were in the car with your mom and all this crazy shit's going on. You know what I mean? So you know, like that, people lose their fucking life.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so you were groomed without being groomed. You know what I mean? By your surroundings, by your fucking environment. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so you defended yourself.
Yeah.
You protected your life, bro.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Dude acts like he's got a gun, dog. You know what I mean? You know, hey, where you come from, you take that seriously, bro.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? This isn't a fucking a rap music video. This isn't fucking something that you've seen off a movie. Like you've been through in real time and you've seen this happen. So I you know what I mean? Well, go ahead, continue your story.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
I just turned myself in. I told the homies like, I'm gonna just turn myself in, stuff like that. I was just.
So you call the cops. The cops come.
Yeah, so,
and obviously you got to say, hey, what happened? Hey, you know what I mean? And do they take you in, or did you run that you had to turn yourself in?
No, I told them I'll be here, just come pick me up. I called them and I said, I stabbed someone. I gave them my address and I said I'll be waiting right here in the back. And I just waited there.
And they came in to put cuffs on you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Took me in.
Well, good for you, bro, for handling it like that. Yeah. A lot of people would have wigged out and ran 3 blocks, you know what I mean? You know, and then until they get to their senses of what, you know what I mean? What the fuck, you know what I mean? Like, that's a real thing, bro.
Yeah.
That's a traumatic thing, bro.
Yeah.
That's a very traumatic thing that you went through, you know what I mean? And I off the rip, I side with you because, you know, just from your story and just being in similar situations, you know, it makes sense that you are going to protect yourself, bro. You know what I mean? Like anybody should do, you know. And the worst thing you could have done is turned your back and maybe ran and took the chance of getting shot in the back.
Right.
Who knows if he had the gun or not? Did he end up having a gun?
They found it out he didn't.
Okay,
he did.
Hey.
But
dudes be fronting like that sometimes, bro.
Exactly.
And you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Play stupid games, you win dumb prizes, bro.
Yeah, I mean,
and I don't want to be insensitive to the dude losing his life because, like you said, you know what I mean, he potentially was on some shit. You know, he thought he was gonna scare you.
Yeah.
And obviously he had the wrong USC student right there.
Yeah, they afterwards, prayers for like, you know, him and his family, right?
100%.
After they like released that like his background info on stuff of like and it was like, you know, I didn't even know about, they didn't even tell me personally. I had to find out afterwards, like a week after, and then they released articles on it, like his criminal history where he had like similar you know, charges of like, you know,
He wasn't from California, right?
no, he's from Texas.
Yeah.
No, he's from Texas. And
It's unfortunate, bro, that a lot of these transients or drug addicts, they come catch the bus to downtown LA, bro.
yeah.
You know what I mean? You can go to Metro, you go on downtown LA, bro. None of them dudes are from LA.
Yeah.
None of them dudes are from LA because I work down there, dog.
Right,
I work down there.
yeah.
I'm a journeyman electrician, so I worked on a job called the Regional Connector where we traction. I was traction part of the Traction Power, bro, where we connected the subways underneath downtown LA, dog.
damn.
It was a historic project. It was a great project that I was on. But while working on those substations, they call them substations, Metro, 7th and Metro, all those different platforms, bro.
right.
All them people that are on drugs right there, none of them from LA, bro.
yeah,
They're all from fucking Texas, Minnesota.
Yeah.
Like, and they just take the bus there and then they just end up hanging out there and getting high right there,
Yeah,
dog.
yeah.
You know what I mean?
And and they just like released his like past criminal history and like his medical records, and he was like dealing with like a lot of mental stuff, and you know, was like in the mental hospital, or I know there's another word for it. Mental hospital.
Yeah.
And and then so that you know, whole situation was unfortunate. And you know, that's pretty much what happened. And then I got sent to, you know, the sheriff's office or the police station, whatever. They investigated me, and then they took me down to the 77th on Broadway over there, the county jail. And then I was there for, I don't remember. Do you remember how long it was? 4 or 5 days? 5 days? 6 days? It wasn't long. It was like a little bit less than a week. And then
So you were there for a few days. They
I
kept
was
you.
there for a few days.
Yeah.
Yeah. So a lot of people always ask like, oh, how? I'm like, I mean, I wasn't there long. I'm not gonna front. You know, there's some
Yeah.
people that like be like, yeah, like I was like, no, I was just there for a few days. I'm not gonna. There's no reason to lie about it.
Yeah.
And then before it hit trial, the DA decided to drop my charges, saying that it was for self-defense and stuff.
Gascon.
Yeah, Gascon.
That's going. And so you had Mark Ericos as a lawyer.
Yeah.
How did you obtain him?
Good question. What?
So we got a random call.
Yeah, they got I guess he called my mama, and then heard about the case and wanted to hop on it.
Wow.
I knew nothing about this while I was in there, you know. And I think that was the best for me, like, you know. So shout out my people that really helped me through that. They were like, yeah, we'll just don't worry about it, just focus on you right now. And I'm like, okay, cool. So I know they handled all that, which I'm really grateful for. But yeah, he just called up, and they invited, you know, my people out to like his office and stuff like that. That's when they got introduced to like his work and stuff like that. And then he picked up the case and stuff like that, and like
Pro
really
bono?
fought. Yeah, he really fought against it. And and then he was able to get the charges dropped because, you know, there was like camera footage that showed like that aligned with my story. Because I told him straight up, like, I didn't mean to hurt the dude. Like, I was just trying to check up on the dude. Because, I mean, you break into my homie's car, I'm just trying to make sure everything's cool and stuff like that. The camera proved that. So a lot of people were like judging, like, oh, this decision wasn't right. I'm like, the camera footage shows they investigated everything.
So you're saying people that wanted to see you convicted on the crime?
Yeah, a lot of people.
And are these people within the USC community? I mean, or just in general?
I think both. I think I saw more the USC community because, I mean, obviously that's my community, so I'm within it.
Yeah.
But I mean, like, when I was looking outside of that community, you know, there was just a bunch of people in general like fighting against it. But
They were really fighting against it.
Yeah.
Is the USC community, does it lean more on the right or the left? Politically.
I think it rides with their students,
like
it
middle,
seems like.
Are they in the middle?
Yeah, it's like
Are they Kamala Harris or Trump?
it's like I think it's 50-50 in my
50-50.
opinion. Yeah, like it's a
Okay.
super 50-50. I think maybe more to the left only because it's in California, right, to school, but a lot of those students are very like right. But the thing is,
Conservative.
Like, the thing
Conservative
is,
middle.
I got the whole pushback was a lot of the right was supporting me.
That's what I thought. I would
So-
figure the self-defense, bro.
So then I got a bunch of the right people that were like kind of speaking on the case and pushing stuff that I don't agree with, and the left people saw it as like, oh, if they're posting that, Ivan must agree with that, you know?
Okay.
And I'm like, nah, I don't agree with it. Like, I
So it
appreciate
pinned
the
them
support.
against you.
Yeah. So then the left is like looking at me like, oh, he must be right, and I'm like,
Yeah.
Like,
I'm in the middle, bro.
Yeah, yeah,
I mean, I
like-
don't know where you stand,
yeah,
but
yeah,
I mean, I stand in the middle.
Yeah.
I don't stand nowhere no more. Politics is just two
Right,
birds
right.
of the same,
Yeah.
two wings of the same bird,
Yeah,
bro. You know what I mean?
you just got a lot of like extremists, right?
Yeah.
I think both sides of extremists are very unhealthy, right?
hate
and you,
that,
you
bro.
had both of them really trying to like. They made articles and blogs and posts about me, and then like the left and the right really took it as like, oh, this must be his opinion, because even though it had nothing to do with what I thought or my thoughts or opinions or nothing. You feel me? So then a lot of people just like kind of pushed against me, like. And it got really big on Twitter. Like Elon Musk posted me, Charlie Kirk posted me.
What do you think of Charlie Kirk? Rest in peace.
I don't agree. Yeah, rest in peace. I don't agree with a lot of his philosophies, but I do get certain points and stuff like that. He's a smart man. A lot. I mean, to be in that field, you gotta.
I think
be
he was.
smart.
I think he was growing in real time, bro.
I think he was too.
And we seen mistakes.
Yeah.
I ultimately I like the dude. I thought he was a genius dude, and I thought he was calling out a lot of shit, but he was also talking a lot of shit too.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
But he was learning in real time.
Mm-hmm,
Like a lot of the shit that he talks about Iran now, a lot of stuff he talks about Israel.
Changed at the end.
it's all facts, bro.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like all his clips right now that are replaying.
Yeah.
He predicted it all. Like he's speaking facts. But there's a lot of shit that he spoke against within the Latino community, within the deportation, all that shit that is just like, it's trash to our ears, bro.
Yeah, exactly. I agree. I think but it goes back to this thing where like I'm a firm believer in like people can disagree, but that's not going to make me hate you. And I feel like that's been a big problem in like politics and just in real life in general, where people can't sit down and have a conversation.
Yeah.
And I feel like Charlie's the type of person that I would want to sit and have a conversation with without, even though I don't agree with a lot of his values, like I said, like the Latino, what he says about the Latino and the black community and like all that stuff, where I kind of see it as like, okay, you didn't come from this background.
Yeah.
So, there's this thing with like statistically and practical, and sometimes the numbers might say something, but is it really practical in real life? And that's like one of the number one rules in stats, where sometimes you gotta evaluate, like the numbers tell you to do one thing, but when you do one thing, it's not morally correct.
Yeah.
That makes sense. So
100%.
I think he was a very like statistical person. Like he looked at the stats, but I think where he lacked is he didn't grow up in these type of communities, didn't grow up with this type of background.
Yeah.
So when it came to situations where you really need the practical side, he couldn't.
It can make you heartless. It can paint you as a heartless
Exactly.
person. When you're going straight off of fucking numbers, bro.
Yeah. So I mean, but I do agree. Like towards the end, he was really, you could see his values changing. But
what did Charlie Kirk say about him? What did Elon Musk say about him?
he was really in support.
Who?
For me, Charlie Kirk first. Charlie Kirk was the one. Well, there was this other politician named Colin. I forgot his last name. It starts with the R. But Colin R, which I'm calling for now, he made this whole blog post about my situation. Charlie Kirk reposted it and pointed like more information, and he was like in support of like Ivan came out of poverty to be on full ride, and he does not deserve to be locked up for something of self-defense. And then Elon Musk reposted it as well with like an exclamation mark, and like everyone went crazy. Like
Shout out to them gentlemen.
Yeah.
Shout out to those are dudes you want on your team and during times like that.
Yeah,
bro.
Light to your
and so-
situation, right?
Yeah.
Was it?
bro.
They brought light to your situation.
Yeah, they
in
really
a big
did.
way.
I mean,
Yeah,
$2 million bail. That's a hefty number.
Yeah. I was facing a $2 million bail, and that was what like a lot of the headlines were like.
It's a lot of Chick-fil-A sandwiches,
a lot
bro.
of Chick-fil-A sandwiches.
Not enough.
Yeah, no, my first
More
thought,
than 12 parties.
Yeah, my first thought was like yeah, no. I told my fam like when they had seen me, like, don't even worry about the bill. Like we only need 10%. I'm like, yeah, but like 10%, you 200K, like really? You
just like, leave
that's
me in
still
here?
like, yeah.
You said leave me in here?
Yeah, I said there's no point of paying for my bill. Like it's just way too to get into that, but I
I'm
get
sure Mama Bear had her feet on the concrete,
I
though.
know. I get their side on like we'd pay 50 mil. It doesn't matter, but like, I was just trying to have faith of like we don't need to.
Yeah.
Like, just kind of wait, let God assess. Yeah. And then whatever happens. That was kind of like my mindset of like, because I'm not gonna lie, I was very nervous to turn myself in. I think anyone would. I'm over here thinking like, damn, if I call in, I have a potential of doing life.
Well, you're sitting there and the dude isn't breathing.
Yeah. So I went back inside. I didn't even want to deal with.
Yeah.
So I went inside. I'm covered in blood and stuff like that. I'm washing off. I didn't make the phone call and stuff like that. And then by the time they had picked me up, they already had caution taped everything and all that stuff. they just like, you know, my friends were like, hey, they're here for you. All right, cool. And I went down and stuff like that. So I didn't, you know, I just kind of was like trying to not ignore it, but like I didn't want to see or be around. I just wanted to just be like, all right, when they gonna take me, all right, I'm gonna go down, they gonna take me.
Like a crazy reality, right? From
Yeah.
one day, like waking up just to go about your normal day to going downstairs
Like
and now I gotta go to jail.
Exactly. I was
Snap of a fingers, huh?
Right?
You know, I went
Life will
full
change.
ride
No lie.
to that, you know, and so it's very nerve wracking. Like, do I make this phone call? But in my heart was like, yeah, just do it.
Yeah.
And so I made the phone call, you know, and yeah. And
How has that changed your life, bro? Like, I mean, what has it done to your life? I don't know. I mean, obviously it's changed your life, but which ways has it affected your life in personal and within being a USC student? I mean, you're walking around campus now as the killer, bro.
Yeah, that was like the main thing. I think when I first came out, like it was like very like I'm trying to think of the word, like hazy, like
nostalgic.
Like no, like
nostalgic.
when you feel like blurry.
Like it's not real.
Yeah, like that, like hazy, like, you know,
Yeah.
like a very very hazy, and it probably didn't really hit me until I want to say like a week after, you know, because like that first whole week was just like trying to catch up on sleep. Trying to just ignore, like not trying to be on my phone. I couldn't be on my phone. My phone wouldn't even work because of all the notices that I would get. It would just freeze up every single time I would open it.
Because it was blowing up.
So yeah, so I was just like,
Wait,
all
what
right,
was
all
it
right.
blowing up through? Social media, through emails?
Oh,
through...
everything. Email, social media, phone calls, text messages, everything.
Yeah.
Ads and all that stuff. Even WhatsApp. I don't even use WhatsApp like that. Like we're all like blowing up, everything. And so I kind of ignored it. And then was just like kind of just focused on myself, you know, just stick to music, you know, like as I said, like that's kind of like my therapy. So I just grabbed my guitar and for a whole week I was just locking in and just playing. And then, then it really hit me after. And I think it was just more of like that guilt of like, you know, it's unfortunate that had to happen. And like for that individual to had to go out that way. Like I think that's like the main thing that like really stuck out with me. And like the fact that I found out like he had a kid and like all that stuff is, you know, really bad. And I know like,
Did you look into it yourself, his history?
yeah, after a while. Yeah, I tried to ignore it for a while, and everyone told me like just ignore it. I couldn't. Like,
You needed to know who he was.
Yeah, I needed to, and
And how do you go about something like that? I mean, are you looking for an old Facebook, account, a MySpace account? I mean, like, you know, like I'm not trying to make a joke out of it. I'm just saying, like, like how do you do your research into this man?
I did.
How old was he?
I don't even remember.
Okay.
It was 27
And,
or 29, I think, or something like that.
Something like that. Yeah, he was in the late
27
20s. I don't know his
29.
exact name. But
I've just been reading these
He was a
articles.
TikToker,
now.
right?
yeah, he do TikToks and stuff.
Oh, he did TikToks.
Yeah.
He's like
Did the
popping.
school ever try to take back like the scholarship or anything
Yeah,
like that?
you
Did
know-
you ever have that problem?
Yeah, what did
After
the schools say?
situation?
What was the repercussions from USC?
Yeah.
'Cause
Okay.
I know they're like a crystal clear image, you know, of themselves.
So USC for a while did not do anything, say nothing. I got no message, no call, no email, no nothing. Like just cold.
Like nothing. Like, hey,
Nothing,
you all
like
good?
nothing happened. Like no, not even like, hey, you good? Like
They
nothing.
didn't
Yeah.
acknowledge
Nothing,
it.
nothing
Which
at all.
sometimes is a good thing,
Yeah.
or maybe a bad thing. Who knows?
Yeah, I was
You
just
tell
kind of
us.
like, all right. I don't know. I felt indifferent. I think that was the least of my worries. Like I think in my head I was like, I don't care. Like
Yeah, it's
I'm dealing with-
100% least of your
Yeah,
worries, bro.
yeah, so to me,
like
I
school
think
is not.
yeah, like so to me it's like I don't really have an answer for that because I didn't care.
Yeah.
And then even if they had did texted me, I don't think I would have even cared enough to even look through it. You know, that's just the honest truth. And then I want to say about like 2 weeks before school started, I'm still confused. Like, am I still going back to school? Because I didn't take a break. This happened in June. I went to school in August. So yeah, I just took like a month off and it was like, all right, I'm back.
Was summer break?
Yeah, it was during summer break. And so I just took 4 weeks to assess and then went back to school. And that's when they had texted me and they were like, oh yeah, we want to meet with you. It was the director of threat assessment. It was like, we want to meet with you. It's not optional, mandatory. And they gave me a time and date. And I was like, oh, all right.
Court
we'll go.
hearing.
Yeah,
board
court.
parole-
Yeah, it was basically a
parole
court.
board.
And I came in. It was like a whole like board table. And like I'm in the middle. And I'm like, oh my God, this is worse than jail. What the hell?
Yeah. I mean,
and-
as they should, bro.
Yeah, obviously at the time with my emotions, I was very like, man, this is bullshit. Like, why the hell are they, But after my emotions calmed down, I realized like, any normal person should have done that. I would have done that too if I was, in their shoes and this situation had happened.
It's part of due process in a sense,
right.
Yeah.
I think I was just more bothered the fact like, oh, y'all didn't say anything. Like, your first question was like, hey, how you doing? It was just straight up mandatory meeting. Like, I think that's what I was mainly more bothered about. But I understand. And then it was just them talking about, first of all, my standing with the school, and they had explained like we have to assess and really evaluate whether you bring a threat to students, because that was their main concern.
Yeah.
Of like, and I was like, I understand that. Now I understand that. Like, okay, like, yeah, I get you.
Yeah.
They brought up like, we know about, your background and this situation and stuff like that. We just got to make sure that you're okay and that the students feel safe.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, valid. And they, they offer like therapy, and they offered a bunch of these resources to get me good. And they were like, we're gonna just evaluate you. So for like a whole week, I had to like email them and like message them and like just being really close contact with them to check on how I was doing. And they were like, yeah, if you pass like our assessments and stuff like that, you feel free to continue as a student. And if not, we're just gonna, I don't know. They didn't explain that if not, but I'm assuming whether kicking out or whatever the case might be. But my lawyer was like, there's no way they should kick you out, and we'll fight it.
Yeah, and you got Mark Gallegos.
So I think when they
you ain't got motherfucking what's the lawyer that we used to have right here?
I forget Rosenberg.
Yeah, we ain't got no fucking Rosenberg. Instagram Rosenberger on this shit.
Yeah,
you got Mark Gallegos, bro.
Yeah, and so
big dog.
Yeah, and then I just went. So that was like the whole process with the school, and then after that, they were like, "Yeah, you feel free to come back to school and stuff like that as long as you're okay." They offered you could take a year off, take 2 years off, take how much like time you want off, and
you're
you
like,
come
grandma
back.
didn't teach me to do
Yeah,
that.
So I said, I'll see you guys at school next week, and then I just went right back to school.
They're like,
and so how was the interaction within the students?
Oh my gosh, that was the worst. I think.
Yeah, speak on that, bro.
Well, walking in the middle of campus, everyone's just looking at me. Like,
were you
before
parting
you
the Red Sea, bro? Like Jesus,
yeah,
you know what I mean?
You know how before, like, you had asked me, like, oh, when you were over there, like, were people looking at you different?
Yeah.
Like, now it was real. Before it was like, I'm assuming like, oh, it's just mental, I don't think
before
people
they were like, that's a Mexican from the hood.
Now it's like, yeah, like everyone knows stuff like that. So I'm over here like, damn, like, I'm not trying to look up, because I'm a firm believer, like, I don't care what people think. It was just more of like, damn, like, stop looking at me. Like you walk into a room, everyone's staring at you, everyone, like, like, that's uncomfortable, It wasn't.
What would you do?
Huh?
What would you do?
If I was in their shoes?
Yeah.
I guess you come from a different environment.
Yeah,
though.
I feel like, I don't know, like...
Would you be like, hey, what's up, big dog? Glad you beat that case, homie. I mean, would you be just like, oh, shit,
if I agreed with it, yeah, maybe I wouldn't approach him like that because there were some people that approached me like that and I didn't appreciate it.
Wait, they did what?
Like, they would approach me like, hey, I'm glad you beat the case. And, like, I think I just was at a time and mindset where I'm like, I don't need that, respectfully. You know, like, I appreciate the support, but it's like, you pulling up to me, the middle class, stopping me in front of everybody, like, oh my gosh, I'm glad you beat that. Like, bro, like, you my dog. Like, can I get your Insta, bro? Like, I'm over here like, bro, like, tighten up, bro. Like, go to class, like, I'm not trying to be disrespectful, but it's just kind of like, I don't know. I found it a little disrespectful, just trying to keep my peace. So if I was on the other side of the shoe, I think I would just kind of keep the peace. Now, if I knew him, that's a different story.
Yeah.
If I knew the person, I'll check up on him, stuff like that. But I had like strangers that I never met coming up to me, like all like giddy and stuff like that, as if like I'm like a celebrity, and I'm like, dude.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And you would be a fool to fall into that trap of you. I believe you. It sounds like you handled that properly, bro.
Yeah, like I still cool with them. I didn't say anything. I just said, oh, appreciate it. But in my head, I was just kind of like, yeah, you're kind of weird for that. No offense.
Yeah.
And then
you would have been a fool if you'd been like, yeah, doggy, you know what's up, dog. I got us right here. Anything happens, holler at me, dog.
Yeah,
you know the dude to call around here.
Because I find it kind of corny. Because like I do get the whole like thing of like, you did right, you defended yourself, but at the end of the day, it's like, and I do understand that, and I do accept that, obviously, because I know I was defending myself, but it's more of like someone at the end of the day still lost a life.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm not cool with that. So you coming up to me saying like, oh my gosh, like you beat, it's like, as if like I won. I didn't win anything.
Yeah, nobody won nothing.
Yeah, like no one won nothing. So then that's why I think it was like disrespectful.
I mean, you lost and he lost, bro.
Yeah.
There's no winners here, right?
Yeah, exactly.
No winners,
so those people like so I get where they're coming from. They're coming from good heart. They're just trying to show support. But at the end of the day, it's like I don't sit with those values. I don't see having that on my title as like a value.
Good for you, bro.
And so I think that's why it turned me off, like those type of people. And like especially when I would go online and people would be like, oh, he's a hero, or like all that stuff. Even like people from my community, it was just kind of like a little corny, like a simple like I'm glad he's okay. I think that was probably the best thing.
A hero is a little too much.
No, like if you go on the comments on like these posts, like people were like saying that.
Yeah, like a hero is too much. It's not like you pulled a kids out of a burning fucking building. That's a hero right there.
Yeah.
I mean, you just happened to be in a situation where you defended yourself and someone lost their fucking life, unfortunately, which is very traumatic. How traumatic has that been in your life? You know what I mean? How do you have you lost sleep over that? I mean, like how has that changed you mentally, physically, spiritually? I mean, like how has that impacted your life?
I think,
and mind you, this is only a couple years ago, correct?
Yeah, 2 years ago.
2 years ago.
Yeah. I think the main thing was like sleep. I've always had sleep trouble ever since I was a kid, like sleepwalking and sleep talking and lucid dreaming, and I've always had like nightmares growing up, and like this just did not help. And it was to a point where like probably like I want to say like for like a good 6 months straight, something like that, like every time I would dream it would be that situation, like nothing else. I wouldn't dream about nothing else. It took a while to get over it, like where I wouldn't dream about that, but like every single time the dream would show like different details. Like it would be like instead of my homie's car, it was like my grandma's car. Instead of it being at like that pad, it was at like my mom's old pad in like San Pedro. And like whenever it was like like a certain thing, but it was always the same outcome. So I think that I don't know, just stupid.
What kind of help did you get? Did you get any type of I'm not going to say psychiatric help, but any type of with therapy? I mean, did you get the therapy through the school? I mean, what helped you through these times?
I actually didn't go to therapy.
Okay, so what helps you through these times, bro?
Well, I started going.
Did you go to church? Did you talk to mom, grandma?
I started barely going this January, so a few months ago.
Okay.
But prior to that, all I did was church. I think the main thing that really happened to me, and I don't even think I've told my mom this true story, but when she had picked me up from jail, she'd given me, well, my phone was dead. I remember I don't remember whose phone I used, but I remember that same day I got out, Peso Pluma. I don't know if you guys listen to Peso Pluma. He had dropped an album, and put on my AirPods and stuff like that had charged and stuff like that. Listened to the album, and I just scrolled, and he had just released it maybe like 10 minutes prior. Like I gotten out during the exact same time he released it. I went through like the whole list, and I saw a song that said 1414, which I just caught my eye. So I put 1414. If you guys haven't heard that song, it's about a Bible verse, Exodus 14:14, and he talks about like crime, and especially like murder, and like asking God for forgiveness.
Yeah.
And I heard that, and ever since that day, I changed my wallpaper to 1414.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys can see it from there. I don't know if you guys. Oh, sorry, but 1414. And it's always like a reminder of like I genuinely think it was God telling me like it's okay, like focus, like you're good, because I don't know, I don't see the coincidence of like me getting out 10 minutes later, Peso Pluma drops, and the first song I listened to is 1414, where it talks about the whole like Bible verse and what that means. And so from there I was like, oh yeah, and I really like just would go on YouTube and really just search up like does God forgive, and like oh my gosh, why am I forgetting his name? You guys know Johnny?
Johnny Chang.
Yeah,
Johnny
like
Chang. Can I tell you about Johnny Chang? So we gave Johnny Chang the platform right here, bro. And since this platform, he is blown up. He was already like I don't want to toot my horn and say, because he was already like gonna be great. I mean, but right here on Hood Stocks, bro, years ago, bro, is what helped catapult him to the fucking
like elevate
elevate
like
to the 100%. It was a great stepping stone for him and his journey as a pastor and everything that he's doing. I mean, Johnny Chang is a very close friend of mine, bro.
He was probably the guy that helped me the most.
Shit.
Like I would go on YouTube and just like, because I mean when I heard his story, I was like, it's someone I can listen to, relate to, and also like with the church we go to, like Victory Outreach, Like there's a bunch of pastors that have gone through that walk of life. So like stuff like that where just kind of listening to that stories. And even though I know people, I was kind of known as like maybe like the person who didn't really pay attention at church because I would just seem like I wasn't. But like genuinely, it was like I'm the type of person where like if something sticks out with me, I'll be thinking about that the whole time and then kind of forget the rest, which is kind of a bad habit. But they'll say something that'll stick with me, and the whole sermon, the rest of the sermon, I'm just kind of still lost in that thought. But Johnny just listened to it for hours on like forgiveness and like really getting close to God and stuff like that. So I really leaned to that. And I think like little by little, I kind of got over like the dreams and stuff like that and like really assessing like the situation. And, I think that the biggest the guilt I had was like his son, like the kid, and like how do I deal with that? And I think the main hesitation I had a lot with music, because that was like my whole passion, is like how can I enter a music space knowing that like he has a son out there that one day will see my name, and that's all I'm gonna be affiliated with. So like, how do I overcome that? And so
how do you overcome that?
I don't think I still found the answer.
Yeah.
Genuinely, because it's a tough situation. But I just stay true to God and just let God do His course. And I believe that if there was no purpose in my life, He could have just simply said, "You gonna do the time." It's simple as that. The fact that He helped me out kind of like is always a reminder of like I wasn't meant to be locked up or meant to not do anything. The fact that USC is like, you know what, you're cool to come back. The fact that I'm about to graduate is all like kind of a reminder from God saying like, like you went through that, but you have a different purpose. So I feel like that's always been like my drive ever since.
You know what I was thinking about your politic career, that potentially can get in the way of your political career.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, that's the tough part that I always think about. But I always think like, growing up, people didn't think I was going to not be a gang member. Like everyone thought like, oh yeah, he comes from two hood parents. Like obviously he's gonna be locked up with that. Prove them wrong. They said, oh, someone from his background don't go to university. Prove them wrong. People say, oh yeah, he got into the university, but he's probably gonna drop out. Prove them wrong. They said, oh, he got a murder case. He's gonna be there the rest of his life. He lost his life. What a dumbass kid. Prove them wrong. So like when it comes to that and like my background history, how that plays a part into politics, I know I'm gonna have probably a lot of pushback and stuff like that, but like my whole life I just proving people wrong, so like I'm gonna just try to keep on doing the same.
Absolutely. You said when after that you kind of like you grabbed your guitar, you were just really in tune to music. Did you write any songs after that?
Yeah, I actually wrote a song in jail, which a lot of people were tripping out because a lot of my homies were like,
can you play it for us right now?
Yeah, I could.
Can you grab your guitar and play?
Yeah.
Let's do it. Hey, let's do this, Casey. Let's keep Loca there. Let's bring Rick over here.
Put him right here on the
Yeah, and put him right there. And let's put a mic to the guitar and a mic to his voice. And obviously that mic that Rick was using for his guitar.
I'm probably gonna use this one for the guitar.
Oh yeah, however you want to do it, brother. Yeah. You're the engineer, bro.
This one's easier to move.
Yeah, there we go. We got a live performance for you guys right here, man. He's gonna play the song. Look at Vicious. Love you, Vicious. Good seeing you, girl. 100%. Absolutely, man. Thank you for bringing your son and being a part of such a great kid, bringing a great kid into this world, man. Rick, we got a live performance right here. We used to do live performances all the time.
Dog.
Yeah,
it's gonna be dope. I seen the homie pulling up with his guitar. I was like, hell yeah, that's right.
Well, I seen him do music, so I told him, I said, hey, bro, you do music, right? And he goes, yeah. And I said,
so
bring
let's
your
get
guitar?
it, huh?
And he said, yeah, I'll bring my guitar. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
It's on the cracking, guys. Live performance. Lucky leveled up. Appreciate everybody in the chat right here.
Let's go.
Glory to God, absolutely. What does it say? Ivan, the loco. Yes, sir. Thank you to all the Goonies tapped in right here. Appreciate you guys hanging with us for almost 3 hours right here. Thank you guys for being patient right here. Everybody that's in the studio.
Great story, bro.
Good story, huh, dog?
Yeah, good story.
Great story, Rick.
Yeah.
Right there with Loca, your backup singer.
Backup singer. Got him.
Loca gonna be the backup singer. This is gonna be good, man. We used to do live performances all the time right here, man. And we're gonna get back to the live performances now that we have a full-on
bigger
studio.
huh?
Yes, we used to do the live performances in Casey's studio.
Okay.
When we had that big space right there. Casey, pull the guitar mic a little far back, little back. Yeah. There you go. Yes. It's about to go down, baby. Shit, man. Casey, pull out your flute, bro. Casey's gonna play along.
Oh yeah.
Casey's going in.
Let me know when you're ready, bro.
Yeah, I'm ready.
You ready?
Yeah.
Let's go. Look at Loca. Hey.
This one's called Pesadillas y Sueños. The song I wrote in jail. La muerte y las personas que yo he matado me persiguen cuando ando soñando. Recibo elogios hay de mi barrio, pero la puerta al cielo trae un candado. Cerré la puerta a mi propio padre, vicio de droga y ay como mi madre. Traigo las manos llenas de sangre, aunque yo he tratado nada suficiente para vivir en el presente. Sigo en el pasado, infierno caliente. Cometí unos pecados, pesadillas y sueños que no me dejan dormir, que no me dejan sonreír, que no me dejan ser feliz, no me dejan seguir y continuar mi vida. La droga y el alcohol lo que me está ayudando a aliviarme y acabar este año. Nadie sabe cómo me siento, conversaciones que traigo con el diablo, decisiones y tantos pecados, remordimientos que ando cargando. 24/7 ando pensando cómo borrar todo de mi mente. No vivo en el presente, sigo en el pasado, infierno caliente. Cometí unos pecados, pesadillas y sueños que no me dejan dormir, que no me dejan sonreír, que no me dejan ser feliz, no me dejan seguir y continuar mi vida.
Baby, let's go, doggy.
Appreciate it.
There you go. And for the no sabos, bro, what were you speaking right there, bro?
Yeah, the song's called Dreams and Nightmares, Pesadillas y Sueños, and it's a whole conflict of having dreams but also dealing with like nightmares. And so I wrote it in jail, at least like a majority of it, like 70%. And then when I got home, I obviously had to adjust it because I don't have a guitar in jail, so I got to switch up the flow and stuff like that. But found the chords, found the flow, and switched it up. Basically dealing with like the whole guilt of like taking a life and how to deal with it when I go to sleep. And, you know, talking about like the whole trauma of, you know, even though I get praise from certain people saying like, oh, you did good, like you defended yourself, like how do I deal with like still feeling guilty that like, okay, I get some approval from some people, but God at the end of the day is ultimately like the final, you know, judge. So, you know, I appreciate the kind words, but at the end of the day, like this goes to me and God, you know, and dealing with that. And like, you know, talking about like the whole chorus of like these dreams and nightmares are like the reasons why like it's hard for me to be happy, hard for me to sleep, hard for me to smile. The second verse kind of goes more into like just the regret of it, you know, elaborating more on that and like how my mind is racing 24/7. And then it goes back to the chorus of like, you know, I'm trying to clear my head, but I can't. So
amazing, brother. Good work.
Yeah.
Can we get another song?
Yeah.
Casey, can you pull that? You were right the way you had it, Casey. Pull that mic closer to his guitar.
Also, yeah, I'm kind of losing my voice because I've been having studio sessions every day, so I'm trying to
it's all good. How can people follow you, bro? You know what I mean? How can they support you with your music?
Well, I only have 2 reggaeton songs out right now, but I'm gonna start releasing a bunch of corridos. I have about like 60 unreleased, but the thing is, I wanted to wait until I graduated to release because I didn't want to be stuck in the middle of releasing during school
Yeah.
and work and all this stuff, and then being caught of like, damn, let's say a song blows up, I don't have the time to do press, I don't have the time to do a music video, I don't have time to do all that, so it'd be kind of like a waste. You know, some people, they release a song, it blows up and they don't do anything with it. I didn't want to be that person. I'd rather be more patient and wait. Then also after my case, it was like difficult because a lot of my songs talk about hood shit. So how can I release a hood shit after claiming like, yeah, I'm not like that, I'm a different person, but then my song lyrics talk about a different thing. So I was like, I just need time, I need patience, and then once, you know, that kind of gets over the way, I'd like to release more songs like that.
Timing is everything, brother.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
salute to you, bro, on not being like me, bro. I'm
Impatient, huh?
Yeah, I'm very impatient. I'm very, what's the word when you just jump on something right away? Casey always, yeah.
Erratic?
Erratic. Yeah. Well, I think that's a heavy way of saying it, but impulsive. I'm a very impulsive person, bro. Like I pull the trigger right away. You know what I mean?
Yeah. New studio.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Oh well, that's necessary, bro.
No,
you know what I mean?
but it was-
Sometimes you got to do it the way it comes. You know what I mean? You know, when something comes knocking on your door, you got to open up that door. You know what I mean? And bop, make that shit happen.
Need it done.
Yeah. So what's his next song? What's the name of his next song?
Yeah, this one's called Trece, and it's probably gonna be my first release. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoy it.
Let's go.
Yeah, a little bit looks. So sorry, I'm gonna get a little bit of water.
Yeah, get some water. Get that water, baby. Get that H2O, man. Now, Loca, we need to see some movement in the background on this one right here. You know what I mean? We need to see you moving, kind of dancing.
Y sigo tirando, sigo con el barrio representando. Sé que el 13 me está cuidando. Y carros volteados, kilos de coca acumulando. A los 10 anduve bien armado. Hacemos los años, Soledad, Salinas, también Solano, para andar bien certificados. Y cuando les encuentro, tengo boletos al infierno. A esos putos les di chance y chance, ellos no pueden avergonzarme. Mi odio es eterno, yo perdono pero no mi cuerno. A esos putos les di chance y chance, ellos no pueden avergonzarme. Y sigo fumando, bien alerto porque sigo buscando a los que me quieren ver abajo. Blindada Durango, armas y cámaras por todos lados, pa' que sepan que no estoy jugando. Y tatuó su cara y lo hizo sin ganarse sus rayas. Todo eso no vale nada. Y cuando les encuentro, tengo boletos al infierno. A esos putos les di chance y chance, ellos no pueden avergonzarme. Mi odio es eterno, yo perdono pero no mi cuerno. A esos putos les di chance y chance, ellos no pueden avergonzarme.
Yeah, here we go, baby. There we go, man. And tell us about that 12-string guitar right there, bro.
Yeah.
You got the 12-stringer right there. I just noticed that.
Yeah, the 12-string Mitchell. Got a few months ago. I love it. Yeah, it's just octave strings for those who know what I'm talking about. And yeah, for that song, it's called Trece. I write a lot of songs talking about like, you know, the environment we all were like raised in, you know, South Side and stuff like that. But I don't mention any neighborhoods. Because, you know, I want my music to be accessible to every person, you know? Once you start dropping names, a lot of people kind of get turned off, like, oh, like, that's the enemy, I can't listen to that. So I want to make music that's very, like, you know, accessible to all. Where you just blasting, you're like, oh, yeah, I can relate to that, I vibe with that, I'm cool with that.
Some universal music.
Exactly, universal, you know? And so that's, like, the whole point, you know? This song 13 talks about, like, the life we all, you know, grown up around, you know, like, talking about, like, the selling drugs and, you know, being around guns and being armed and, like, that whole mindset of, like, you know, like, mess with me, I'm gonna kill you. Like that whole mindset that, you know, we kind of are raised in. So that's what like the whole chorus is about. And like, you know, the whole like, one of my favorite lines is, you know, sigo tirando con el barrio, representando, sé que el 13 me está cuidando. Like, you know, I'm a just rep my neighborhood, and I know the 13 has my back, you know? And that's what I kind of want this song to relay, you know? Obviously, it talks about, like, the mindset we all grow up in, crime and stuff like that, but ultimately, I want this song to be seen as, like, a community type of thing, you know, and kind of really extending out of the actual crime factor and more of, like, you know, this is my people, this is my community, like, I know they got my back. So, yeah, I love this song. It'll probably be one of my first releases.
Let's go, baby. Let's go. You got any songs you written about, like your mom or anything like that?
Yeah, I do. There's actually one. Also, I'm trying to sing my best, but don't have my best voice right now, so apologize.
Let's make this the last song, and then, man, Vicious, can we get some words out of you? Can we get some Vicious after this song? Can we get some words from you on the mic? Yeah, let's get Vicious on here afterwards.
This one is called Cerca. And I wrote this song speaking of a mindset when I was 7 years old, when my mom had like left my life, you know. And so it's a whole song reflecting on like, I still feel you close, right? So I kind of made this one universal too, where a lot of people kind of listen to it and not know it's about my mom or about a mom figure. Like you just think, oh, it's about a girl. But then when you really kind of assess, you're like, oh, damn, like it's deeper than that, so.
Todavía te siento cerca, tu calor a mi lado, nuestra piel enredados, mi cuerpo recuerda el tiempo que te despertabas en la madrugada, 6:30, cuando me besabas y me acariciabas con la mano derecha, viendo tu belleza. Y dime qué dirías si podías ver mis heridas. Si estuvieras aquí viva me gritarías, me cuidarías por no querer continuar. Si tú ya no estás, tú eras mi medicina que tomaba cada día. Ahora dependo de las bebidas, fumo cubierto de gasolina. Se formó parte de mi rutina. Tú perdiste tu vida y yo perdí la mía.
Hey, look at Vicious over there. She wiping her tears right now. Let's get her over here, Rick. Yeah, come on, Vicious. Let's go.
I'm not Vicious, or I'm Softy now.
It's Softy. So this is, someone said talented and educated in the chat, and that's facts on top of facts.
Clean out the tears.
So we got moms right here. This is Vicious right here. She's actually a friend of mine as well, you know.
Yeah.
Wow. What do you think?
Man, made me cry right now.
No.
I don't look, I wanted to cry too. Hey, but you know what? What I was thinking right now when I seen that picture, I remember one time I called Loca. She pulled up to my block. And she told me, why are you going to go to the streets? Go back to your kids. I don't know if you remember that time. And now seeing that picture, it's like a promise. Like, she was directing me to my kids. And today, we're here. And we're just sitting in this room. It's not by coincidence that we're sitting here. So... it's absolutely sentimental, for sure.
100%. I mean, wow. Yeah.
Enough crying.
I remember.
I mean, wow. What your son right here is.
Me and her go way back.
Let's get there. You go.
I got a lot of love for your neighborhood, and I spent a lot of time in South Central, so I know the struggle. And you know me. I was fapping out there for 10 years in South Central, and I ran into you, and you were always solid with me.
Likewise. Likewise, she's low-key a double S over there.
Yeah.
So what do you think of your son right here, man?
Man, I'm blown away. I think, like coming back to his life, I came in from this like, you know, hoods, just a hood, and then coming back to like being a full-blown changed woman, like it's all God now, right?
Yeah.
It's all God now. And I remember it was a worship time where he was preyed on, and he just told me everything. And we found out his future. I already knew he was going to be a business owner. And I told him, why do you want to be a business owner? And he said, because I want to help my people. And I said, that's God's heart.
Yeah.
God has a calling over your life. So from that day forward, he didn't let me in right away, but it was just like in prayer, just prayer that I would come in. That's why when you asked, like, how did that lawyer come? I said, God, because that's how it came. I got a phone call. I was negative $15 in my bank account.
And how that feels.
Yeah, and it was $2 million. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, I could go ahead and hustle. I could go do whatever I got to do. I got to go to the old me. And I remember just a man called me. His name was Sean. I don't even know who this guy was. And he said, Violet, I've been trying to sleep for 3 days, but God told me to help your son. So it wasn't pro bono. He doesn't do no pro bono. We signed a contract, and he said he seen me and my husband. My husband's all tatted, and he said, you guys look like very trustworthy people. And we're looking at each other. We started laughing. We're like, trustworthy? We could have robbed you. Come on. I'm over here looking at all the posters. But it was at that moment that I realized my son was going to be somebody famous. It wasn't by mistake, because I started seeing Michael Jackson. I seen different pictures. And we signed a contract that if I made $1, I will pay him $1. And when he told me his price, he said, I charged $10,000 just to look at the case.
Yeah.
And I said, he's like, how much money you got? I said, I got negative $15. And he said, you are the most richest person I know. He said, because there's people that have billions here that come for service and they end up owing me, and then I got to do losses on them. So the fact that I said that, that's what moved us hard. And then he said, we haven't been able to sleep for 3 days, just having your son in our mind, and God told us to help you.
Damn, bro.
So,
man, now you fucking me up with this shit, bro.
yeah, so it was deeper than that, right?
Yeah.
Like, and then my son was, I don't think he told you guys, but when he was in the cell, right, this is all like provision. We had already got a dream like months before that of what had happened, what was going to happen. God had given me a dream he was going to have a car accident. He wasn't going to be able to walk. So when I went to go see him, out of all people, my husband gets approved to go see him. I can't even get approved to see him, right? So he goes and sees him. And when I see him, my son said, that this is a dream. And it was a dream, you know, where God said he wasn't going to walk. In my dream, he was paralyzed and he wasn't going to walk. But God told me, don't worry, he will walk again. But it will not be you, it will be me. And I didn't understand it, right? And I remember God was so strategic, because when I told him the story, Ivan was like, really, Mom, God told you all this? Like, this is what God told you? But then God had told me I was going to get a flat. And I told my son, God told me we're going to get a flat. And he's like, okay, Mom, here we go again. God told you this stuff. And right when I left them, what did we have? A flat. We had a nail in the tire. So it was also that he could believe, so that he could have faith. And finally, when he was in the jail cell, there was only one thing he read, right? And it said F13. And what else did it say?
It said F1. It said Jesus loves you, and then it was written by, I'm not gonna say his name, but someone from Florence.
Yeah. And it was by no mistake, you know, that it was all like his past was about to be healed. And that's all he had to go through, you know. But we knew that this calling was coming. We just didn't know the cost. And, you know, it's cost him. I got to see him go through the changes. You know, I think I showed up when he was going through a change. I showed up to his frat and I was like, where's my son? I need to see him, you know, because he avoided everyone for a minute. It was a lot for him to take in, you know. It's like everything was going to be snatched from him from one day to another. But to see the pressure that God will go ahead and provide to bring forth, you know, the music he's doing, I understand it today. So,
wow,
know.
God is real.
Yeah, he is.
God is real.
And I know God's working in your life.
He's working in my life
sure.
big time, bro. Like overtime. He's on my bumper tough right now.
Yeah.
My Lord, my Savior. I mean,
That's right.
I really like, you know what I mean? I'm really like, damn, dude. I love hearing these stories because it inspires me.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? And I'm sure it inspires everybody else right here.
Yeah.
This is it's unfortunate that the bro lost his life, man.
Yeah, for sure.
But man, you know, I believe that Ivan's gonna do right. You know what I mean? He's been doing right, you know, and you know, it's just gonna be blessings all around, you know. Yeah. I mean, I can't articulate that. I can't articulate, you know, I can't dig deep enough to articulate it. I mean, we can feel it and we can think it, you know what I mean? But I think that everybody understands what we're all trying to, the message, right?
Yeah,
You know, the message that's being across, and your dreams. You know what I mean? Your dreams that you were having, the real dreams, man.
Yeah.
God will talk to us, you know, in our sleep.
For
You know
sure.
what I mean? He might talk to us while we awake. You know what I mean? Or he might show us every sign in the freaking road. You know what I mean?
That's true.
You know, and so I think now's a better time than ever to get in touch with, you know, the higher being, a higher calling. You know, and you know, correct yourself. You know, as we all should. You know, try to make ourselves better. But the best book to correct yourself is the Bible.
That's right.
Yeah, and it's done obviously from, you know, last time I seen you to now seeing you now. It's worked, been miraculous in your life.
Yeah, it has. It's trials and errors for sure, but I'm proud of him. I know he's going. There's still more prayers to do, because he's going a long way. There's more challenges, and you just even said it on the podcast.
Let me do this right here. I'm gonna call Johnny Chang right now. He just texted me back.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
Hold on real quick.
Hello?
Johnny.
What's up, bro?
Hey, I love you, my boy, and I to be real shit, bro. Your name came up in this interview right here, right now, that you helped this man heal during a hard time. You're live on the podcast right now, brother, and you have the brother right here, Ivan Gallegos, and he went through a hard time. He's a USC student, brother, and while going to USC, he caught a murder, bro, of self-defense. You know what I mean? And to make a long story short, he got Mark Gallegos, the famous lawyer, to come on his side, help him beat that murder, self-defense. And we asked him what helped him. I asked him what helped him through those times, and he said Johnny Chang. Listen to Johnny Chang over and over, helped me through those times. So you have him right there. I don't know. Yeah, he's on. Go ahead, talk to him, brother.
Yeah, no, I just wanted to say appreciate it. Yeah, when he asked me the question, I was just honest, and I said I very lean to God, but during that time it was just kind of hard to go to church, like just being out in general. So I just went to YouTube and found your videos, and really was able to relate, because from your background it was like, oh, someone I could relate to, someone who has gone through what I've gone through, backstory and everything. So I mean, I would just listen to hours of your stuff, and the whole guilt process, and how to just pray better, and how to connect with God more. So yeah, I had mentioned that here, and I just want to say thank you. I appreciate you for real.
Dude, man, I appreciate you, brother. And obviously, shout out Lucky and Hoodstocks, man. That's always family, too. So thank you guys for always plugging me in. But, Ivan, I appreciate you, brother. I think nothing happens without coincidence. I think God has led your life, obviously, to be able to hear the scripture and the gospel, bro. And I'm so glad that you're out, bro. You're free, and God really loves you, brother. For you, I would give you a verse, bro. When you speak, a lot of the times, when you read the Bible as much as I have, verses will pop up, bro. And so Jeremiah 29:11, I think you're living proof of that, bro. It says, "For I know the thoughts that I have of you, thoughts of peace, not of evil, to give you an expected end." In the end, bro, God wanted to give you peace, and I think everybody is able to see that through your life, bro. So I ask that you go up and you just pray boldly and you testify boldly, bro. The Bible says we overcome by the blood of the Lamb and the word of our testimony. That testimony, bro, is so amazing. It shows how much people are able to relate to you. A lot of us may not have been locked up, you know what I mean, physically, but we're all mentally locked up to something. You'll realize, bro, how much the whole world is actually locked up, bro. And so you're able to step out of that and share your testimony. And that's why I'm able to relate to everybody too, is because we're all in some kind of prison, whether it's mental, physical, emotional, spiritual, whatever. So keep on pushing, bro. That's my words for you, brother.
Yeah, appreciate it. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Johnny Chang, thank you so much, bro. Love you, man. Keep up the greatness, and we will talk soon, brother. Thank you.
Amen. Peace, Lucky.
All right, brother. That's cool. Johnny Chang made a little time for us right here.
So shout out, Johnny.
Right.
He's a busy man, changing the world, man. You know what I mean?
That's right. He's doing the Lord's work.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Well, Vicious, Ivan, this has been great. Thank you guys so much, brother.
Thank you so much.
You know what I mean? Keep on doing what you're doing. Make sure you tap back with us, bro.
Yeah, for
You
sure.
know what I mean? The bridge is built. You're always welcome back. You know what I mean? We like to tap in with you and see how everything's going. And I'm gonna clip these songs and this and that, bro. And hopefully it creates some momentum, some traction.
Yeah.
I think it will.
Yeah,
I think it will. It sounds good, man. It sounds really, really good. And man, I think your universe is endless, man. I mean, you can go do whatever the fuck you want to do, dog. Whatever your heart desires. I mean, I think you know what I mean, everything's gonna open up for you, bro. So I'll give you a congratulations ahead of time. Congratulations for everything you've accomplished, but congratulations for everything you're about to accomplish, man.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Absolutely. Yeah. Hey, so we are out of here. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. We will see you guys. I don't know when we're going to see you guys. We got some scheduling going on, but we're out of here. Have a good night.